downtown Indianapolis. We're at the 35th annual Circle City Classic from the house that Peyton Manning built, the Lucas Oil Stadium, as the Bethune Cookman Wildcats and the Howard Bison are set for their MEAC conference opener. As we say hello and welcome in with Jay Walker, I'm Tiffany Green. Now, certainly you know him as the former Howard University and NFL quarterback, but did you know he likes to go by the name of Skywalker?
Well, you know, if you're going to be an HBCU legend, you have to have a nickname. Sky was mine, but when you're talking about Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Sky's not in that category right there yet. But being a quarterback here, Circle City's always one of the showcase games for the HBCU season. It's time to get it on.
Yeah, this is when the real season starts, Jay, and we've seen the first 3 weeks go by, but what have we learned in those first 3 weeks?
Yeah, the money games are gone, so we realize that obviously playing up can be a challenge, but both of these squads, we don't know what we have yet. Howard University played great against Ohio, looked a little bit outmatched versus Kent State. Talk about Bethune Cookman, they look bad against Tennessee State, they look decent against Florida Atlantic, and they beat up on the Division II. We don't know, but that's what conference play is all about. And in the conference opener, you need to get off to a good start.
And certainly something that's near and dear to your heart, talking about the quarterback position when you're looking at Howard University, Kalen Newton, that name, that Newton last name, that's because it's Cam's brother. What do you expect to see from him?
I expect him to keep doing like he did his freshman year where he took the conference by storm. I think he's going out there to play to say, hey, I'm not Cam's little brother. I'm Kalen Newton. And what is Kalen Newton? A dynamic dual-threat quarterback that can hurt you with his arm, but when he runs that ball and pulls it to tuck, oh, look out. He makes special things happen.
The Wildcats, meanwhile, they decide to go with a two-quarterback system, so we'll see both Akevius Williams and David Israel.
Yeah, and it's kind of like whoever has the hot hand, and early in the season, it's been Akevius Williams. He's dynamic. He can make some things happen, but they really do like what Israel brings to the table in terms of his leadership style. It's a system that has been effective for them. I don't know how many other schools can pull it off, but hey, that's the Wildcat way.
Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by McDonald's. We're inside Lucas Oil Stadium and just about set for the 35th annual Circle City Classic between Howard University, the Bison out of Washington, D.C., and the Wildcats out of Daytona Beach for Bethune Cookman. And when you think about this 35th running of the Circle City Classic, it's been around since 1984, and the main premise here is to help young people get into college. More than $4.4 million raised in scholarships for students to be able to attend historically black colleges and universities. And just so you know, the type of profit legacy that Circle City Classic has seen, Jerry Rice played in the inaugural game here in front of a huge crowd. And in his second season with Howard is Mike London. He's done a terrific job. We saw a great turnaround with this program last year in his debut season, going 6-2 against MEAC opponents. On the other side, there's Terry Sims, who spent 4 seasons at the helm for the Wildcats. He was on staff for 5 years prior under Brian Jenkins, but he has taken over and is certainly not fallen off for sure. These Wildcats have looked good over the years under his leadership, as Bethune Cookman elected to receive as they won the toss. And back to receive, Quayshawn Bird, good look at him. The sophomore is certainly speedy for sure, as Dakota Lefusky kicks it off, and we're underway. Here's Bird, right up the middle, gets hit, and brought down just about the 30-yard line by Jordan Allen. We talked about the two-quarterback system, Jay, and they're going to ride the hot hand to start things off with Akevius Williams, back-to-back MEAC Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, he's been the guy that's deserved it so far. They like to do it on a weekly basis, but if you look at his body of work throughout the regular season, the first 3 games, he's been the quarterback that has helped the Wildcats put points on the board, particularly when he got a chance to play versus Florida Atlantic. Did a good job moving the football, and I think that was the ultimate deciding factor in the start today.
Back-to-back weeks, he accounted for 4 touchdowns for the Wildcats. And just before a snack would get off, we see a penalty flag come out. Roy Bernard, our referee for today.
Offense, number 63, 5-yard penalty, still, first down.
Now, Jay, you and I have covered Bethune-Cookman for a number of years, and one of the things that Terry Sims said on the call this week was the fact that they were bringing down those penalties.
And they start off conference play with a penalty.
Yeah. Tupac Ismi, the handoff, bounces it outside, picks up a couple, brought down, hard hit from Jason Robinson.
And that's been the problem with Bethune-Cookman over the years. They play aggressive, and that's always been their calling card. They're going to chase you down. It's a Florida football team, but they were terrible with penalties. Well, it seems like they're trying to do a better job because they were the most penalized team in the MEAC. We'll see if they can keep the penalties low throughout this 2018 campaign.
Well, thus far, they have gotten the fewest in the MEAC this season, airing it out down the sideline, and it's caught by Kevon Mitchell, and a penalty flag comes out as well. Kevon Mitchell is a deep threat that they love to go through. He's a fifth-year senior, or excuse me, a senior in this program, and he's been well experienced.
Pass interference. Defense, number 18. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So huge gain down the field for the Wildcats.
Yeah, bad position to be in if you're a cornerback. Jalen was on the inside, didn't know where the football was. Jalen Smith got turned around. Great adjustment on the football by Mitchell.
The 45-yard completion allows the Wildcats to cross midfield as going outside the pocket and really nowhere to go for Williams. Pushed out by Marcellus Allison.
And one thing that offensive coordinator Alan Suber likes to do for the Wildcats, he said this offense is predicated off of speed and space. They want to space you out, meaning spread you out, and then they want to let the team speed, which you always get from a Florida-based team, to take over. And you see a little glimpse of that right there when they spread you out all over the field. They want to run away from you.
Williams off the mark there. His intended target, Ismi.
Tupac gives me that long line. It seems like Bethune-Cookman's always had that dude in the backfield. That guy that can get it done, doesn't have to leave the game, an all-purpose running back that can play first down as well as third down. And Tupac Ismi's had a pretty good career down there in Daytona. And he's a guy, keep an eye on him. He's a guy that can hurt you in more ways than just carrying the football. He blocks well, and he's a good receiver out of the backfield.
3rd and 9, Wildcats in Howard territory. Rolling out to his right, surveys the field, and just misses Mitchell. But the news for Bethune-Cookman is that they've got a strong kicker by the name of Uriel Hernandez, who led the Wildcats in points a season ago, so they will elect to bring him out to the field and see if he can boot through this 40-yard attempt.
They're settling for a 40-yard attempt. I mean, after the big play, they had the great catch downfield, and they had 3 plays that did absolutely nothing for them. When you get in conference play, field position counts, every yard counts. You don't want to have to settle for field goal attempts.
Hernandez
short
and just leaves it short. Didn't get a good follow through on that one, and so once again a wasted opportunity on their opening drive for the Wildcats. We'll see the Howard offense when you come back.
ESPN. ESPN College Football is presented by McDonald's.
The marching Wildcat band marched through the streets of Naptown for the Circle City Classic weekend. 13:25 to go here in the first quarter. Our first look at Kalen Newton, the MEAC Rookie of the Year a season ago. And the toss to Jaquez Ezzard. Ezzard on the outside, picks up first down yardage and more as he gets out near the 40. Jaquez Ezzard, who had a phenomenal start to the season, 223 yards against Ohio, picked up 15 yards on that game.
And how eager is Howard University to face a similar level competition, an FCS opponent after playing consecutive games versus FBS opponents, and then their opening conference game was canceled versus Savannah State. So you can tell the Bison are ready to see how they match up versus MEAC foes.
Newton looking for his first pass attempt, has a man downfield, broken up, great coverage by the Wildcats secondary. Jamari Laguerre, they like to call him Bam on the pass breakup.
And one thing you'll notice about Howard wide receivers, they get by people, but a fantastic job by Laguerre of getting back into the play after being beat. Ball could have been thrown a little bit further out there, but a nice defensive breakup by the Wildcats.
When you're looking at the impact players, the receivers for Howard University on the other side, defensively, they're big defensive ends.
Yeah, Kevin Thompson, he's been playing at Bethune Cookman for a while, stepping up this time in a major way for that defensive line.
Pressure, tucks and runs, does Newton, shakes the defender, and gets out of bounds just near midfield. So that's one of the things that Kalen Newton can do for you. He can run. You said he's a dual threat quarterback out of Atlanta, Georgia. 366 yards of total offense. That's second in the FCS. He was best in that category among freshmen in the MEAC last year.
Look at this formation. 3 guys in the backfield. They bunch you up to spread you out. And what you will see from Howard, their offensive coordinator, Brendan Marion, they never come out of what you call traditional formation. There's always going to be something different to keep the defense on their toes, whether it's an extra running back in the backfield, wide receivers in a bunch formation. They'll hide their tight end behind the tackle. Not a traditional formation from Howard University. Look where the tight end is, lined up behind the right tackle.
And keeping that tempo going as the design run for Newton. He moves the pile forward and picks up good first down yardage. And that's something that Brendan Marion likes to call the go-go offense. Good look at him there. Played his college ball at Tulsa. Learned a lot of those tenets from Gus Malzahn, who was his offensive coordinator at the time, now the head coach at Auburn.
Up-tempo, very creative thinking, offensive minds.
Tries to gun it in to Iggy Reynoso. And the pass is incomplete. Laguerre, rather that secondary once more coming through for the Wildcats.
And when you take a look at Kalen Newton, when he's rolling, you try to compare him his style of play, and similar to me to like a Russell Wilson type. For a guy that's a little bit smaller, arm is stronger than you would expect to believe, and then also has the foot speed to make the first guy miss on a regular basis. He's a talented kid.
3rd and 2, elects to toss it in the air and just overthrows Kyle Anthony. Did you like that decision there, Jay?
No, I thought you were confusing them in the running game. They couldn't show you that they could stop the run. Why not continue to run the football, pick up a fresh set of downs? But instead, it looked like it's 4th and 2 and decision time.
Decision time, and it appears that Mike London leaving the offense on the field. The Bison 1 for 11 in 4th down this season. Instead, Josiah Crute moving through the line, picks up 2 yards and a lot more after that. The freshman out of Washington, D.C.
Good job finding a nice gash. And the running back position for Howard was filled by Dino Filion for so many years. Now they're doing it running back by committee. And you see, this is what we're talking about. Stick with it. Bethune-Cookman has not shown on this drive that they can stop you running the football. But we know Kalen Newton can throw the ball. You got great wide receivers that keep running the football till they show you how to stop. Take a look at this. 3 guys in the backfield and a line get a nice lead block from the fullback and good running by Crute.
Newton going to the end zone, 2nd and 4, and misses Damian Gillespie. As a defense, how does that throw you off when you see those funky formations?
You always have to make that extra key on where your guy is. And I'll tell you what it really helps is they do a lot of play action passing. So if you're a linebacker, you're responsible for a run gap. And having those 3 people in the backfield with a quick play action, it makes you come forward and then go backwards.
Newton hands it off. Cedric Person on the carry. And looks like he may be short of the first down by a yard. Brought down by Kevin Thompson that fifth-year senior up front at defensive end for the Wildcats.
They're gashing them pretty good. I'd stick to the running game. Surprised they threw the ball on second down, but now they're going to go for it here on 4th and 1.
Red zone, pitched out to Crute. Crute brings up 1st and goal for the Bison. So 2 4th down possessions converted on this drive thus far, and the Bison are inching closer to the end zone.
And running the football, and continue to run the football. You got a defense on their heels. No need to get fancy. Give Newton a little run pass option again.
Crute boulders ahead, and that's good enough for a touchdown for the Bison. They hop on the board first. An impressive drive for Howard on their first offensive possession.
They're just establishing control of the line of scrimmage. Nice down block by Philip Fleming, number 78. Able to get that wash block there, and a good job of eyesight getting into the end zone. Give credit to the offensive line and the running game. Impressive opening drive.
Taraji Joseph on the extra point attempt, and it's good. So the Bison get on the board first, and their MEAC opener against Bethune Cookman.
Monday Night Football, Steelers-Bucks, tomorrow at 8:15 on ESPN.
Back here in Naptown, Howard on top 7-0, still in the first quarter, 9:36 remaining. On that drive, the Bison look strong. They continue with the ground game, 13 plays, 77 yards, capped off by a 3-yard touchdown run from the true freshman, Isaiah Crute.
Impressive drive, but put a footnote in there. They went for it twice on 4th down. You're not going to make a living going for it on 4th down in the game of football.
Dakota Lebowski set to kick off. Quayshawn Burr back to receive. Decides to bring it out. And brought down near just about the 14-yard line. And Jay, you talked about those formations and just how weird they are. What's the difference?
Yeah, they always have you talking. First of all, you see this 3-man backfield with both running backs on one side of the ball. Then the line backfield right there. Make you think about it. And then they go back to the one where they're hiding the tight end, the pistol with 2 guys behind the quarterback. You just don't see that a lot in college football. And that's just a staple of what Howard University does. 2 backs on the same side. So there'll be some points in this football game where Howard will have 5 offensive players on one side of the football. And we'll give you a note on that when it comes. But I think that's what makes them so hard to game plan.
Quayshawn Burr, the Wildcat that's down on the field right now, a good playmaker for this team as he's being helped off the field. He was the returner on that kickoff. And of course, Jay, you mentioned he was also an impact player. He, along with Jonathan Thomas, I mean, you can put Quayshawn Burr pretty much anywhere on the field and he can make you pay.
Yeah, spark plug guy, can play wide receiver, can play running back for you as well. So we have to take a look, see if he's able to come back, because he allows them to do a lot of those speed and space philosophies that offensive coordinator Alan Suber likes to employ.
So Kevius Williams trots back onto the field, the redshirt junior out of Madison, Florida. Ready to lead the Wildcats in their second offensive possession. And the delayed handoff to Tupac Ismi, and Ismi spins off the defender and is brought down. Good first down run for Ismi, the junior out of Naples.
That little delayed draw, as you call it, a little trap draw. Looked like Howard had it bottled up pretty well, but a great individual run by Ismi enables him to pick up good yardage on first down.
Second and short now. And Williams completes the pass. So that brings up a first down. There's so many different receivers that Williams can go to on this Wildcat roster. I mean, he just has a bevy of them to go to, and Will Glover, the wide receivers coach, says, look, They are fast and they are dynamic, and the ball bobbled by Ismi. He's picked up, and thankfully he was able to fall on it, but may have lost a yard there.
Well, they're trying this little sprint draw that they've been using this year. I think Ted White used to always use that play, his favorite play call as an offensive coordinator, and now everybody's trying to emulate it here, but the timing just off, and the Wildcats are very fortunate to still have possession of the football.
Now second down, Isaiah Washington in the backfield. He'll get his first carry of the game, plunges forward, moving the pile with him, but there's some laundry on the field. Jameer Augustine brought him down. We'll hear the call.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 52. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
Take a look at it. You see Augustine, the freshman linebacker, just reaches out there and grabs the helmet of Washington. Easy call for the official to make. Tackle another 15 yards.
So the Wildcats sticking with the ground game as well. Washington once more with the carry. Brought down by Brian Cook, one of our impact players for today.
Yeah, they talk about Washington. They give him 34 like Walter Payton because he's got some moves. That's a nice jump cut by a guy that hasn't been playing this year. They want to see what he can do, but showed you a little bit of that flash there. So we gave him number 34 for a reason. I think that's high expectations on the youngster.
The pass out to Francois is incomplete. They say it was out of bounds. That brings up 3rd and 4.
Normally when Bethune Cookman lines up with the trip set at the top and the running back on that side of the quarterback, they like to do the zone read. Here it is.
Williams flanks it out to Mitchell, and Mitchell just able to creep past the first down marker. But the experience that he brings to those wide receivers, he's been in the system for a while out of Miami, Florida, and he too is a guy who can do it all on the field. Williams, pump fake, has time, rolls out, finds his man easily, and that's the first completion to Malik Jackson, who transferred in from Florida State, brought down by Jalen Smith.
Man, good job by Williams on recognition, realizing there wasn't a lot of pressure on him, able to buy some time, drift to his left, and pick up another first down.
It's good enough for a 12-yard gain.
That sprint draw again.
And the Bison defense not full. Zamon Robinson helped to bring him down. Robinson had 4 tackles and a sack and a half last week. He's come on strong. When we talked with Vince Brown, his defensive coordinator, they were really high on him. Williams hits his target. Francois, touchdown, BCU. Well, what a way to answer with a 27-yard strike from Williams to Francois.
Yeah, you called it right. This is a strike. Knows he's going to get hit, stands tall in the pocket, delivers a dart down the field. Great recognition, way to get the soft spot in the zone defense. Touchdown, Wildcats.
The Wildcats use a little bit of the running game, peppered in some of the passing game to help balance things out on that drive.
How do you play the quarterback position? Is it worth taking that hit for the touchdown? Oh, absolutely. We're tied at 7.
The Crispus Attucks Museum is located inside Crispus Attucks High School. It tells the remarkable stories about the segregation era and the Indianapolis natives like Oscar Robertson, the Big O, who broke through racial barriers in the sporting world. So much history here in Indianapolis. We'll tell you a little bit more about Madam C.J. Walker later. Had a chance to walk the campus, Jay, and if you don't know who Crispus Attucks is, he's very important to American history. The first to die in the Boston Massacre, just before the start of the American Revolution. But you just think about Big O. That's his school.
Robinson, yeah.
And what was so neat about that high school was that at the time, African Americans didn't have a place to go, and so there were PhDs and those with higher degrees who were teaching students. As Jordan Alley gets a good return, drug down just near the 35-yard line. Well, Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell at a special time this week, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We should see this matchup in October as the Red Sox and Indians from Progressive Field with All-Stars up and down both lineups. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPNU with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, and both are streaming live on the ESPN app. How about the Indians? They're ready for October.
Tight. We're getting close to October. These games count.
And both Kalen Newton and Ramar Williams were on the field for the Bison. You talked about all those weird positions. Ramar Williams.
Offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still, first down.
And Ramar Williams, the backup quarterback, along with J.B. Patricia, number 1. 3 quarterbacks on the field at the same time, Jay.
They're trying to cause some confusion. That's what they do. Formation-wise, they're going to test you.
Ezzard with the short gain after the catch.
And then once again, that first drive, we saw the success of running the football. Don't abandon the running game. You showed that you can control the line of scrimmage. The offensive line was doing a great job up front. See if the Howard football team gets back to using that running game.
Newton being pressured. Able to get around the court. And look, did you see he just turned on just a little switch right there.
I mean, and he's out running, some of the faster guys, an outside linebacker for Bethune Cookman. And we know Florida linebackers can run. Well, Devin James had the angle on Kalen Newton, but he actually, not only did he turn the corner, but then picked up a lot of yards running the football. Special talent, very, very quick and elusive.
6-yard gain brings up 3rd and 1.
Look at Bethune Cookman stacking the box. 10 guys by the line of scrimmage. One-on-one matchup to the top.
And Newton decides to hold on to it. And right there, Jerome Howard and the Wildcats help to bring him down.
But that is a Kalen Newton effort. This play was snuffed out. They had 10 guys saying, if you run the football, we're going to hit you behind the line of scrimmage. They got to him. But watch Kalen Newton after this. Pull it, contact, keeps going forward, knows where the first down marker is, picks up the first down.
I think that's why he was the MEAC Rookie of the Year a season ago. He's a special player when he's on the field, delivers that ball to Malik Hyatt. And a big play back-to-back by Kalen Newton.
In the face of adversity, we saw the effort on the run. On that pass there, knew he was going to get hit, but delivered a catchable ball. Watch this. He knows he's going to get hit, but able to leave and get the ball up with enough touch for a big play.
That was good enough for 30 yards and play whistle before it started.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still, first down.
Look there at Mike London, who's in his 2nd season with the program, came over from the University of Maryland, won a championship at Richmond, his alma mater. And Newton, with all kinds of time, finds his man. That's Justin Chaney, the tight end. He's a young man who's back after
attack before this ball was thrown, but they're yet to call a pass interference to the secondary on just contact alone. letting them play a little bit. You have to know that. If you're an offensive coordinator, you have to know, well, if I'm not going to get a PI call, maybe it's time to use the intermediate passing game, the short passing game, 7 to 10 yards, and try and get run after catch yards.
3rd and 2, held on to a little bit for the exchange, but Parson met quickly just near the 15-yard line, which is where the markers are, brought down by Tydarius Peters.
And with that run there, that's going to be a 1st and 10 Bison. Get myself in trouble saying that, but that's a chant they say at Howard University when they get first down.
Did you have to emphasize Bison the way that you did?
Sorry, it's in me too. It's like acting like you're not a Rattler too.
This is the 8th play of the drive, and Newton wisely just slides down in the face of some maroon jerseys.
Still think they're throwing the ball a little bit too much. I think they've had success running the football when they spread them out in a traditional formation, not in an obvious run situation, but whenever they spread them out, they found some big creases in the Bethune Cookman defensive line. Offensive linemen feed off of that type of stuff.
Instead, Newton airs it out for Anthony in the end zone. Once again, misses him, and now that brings up 3rd and 8. Jamari Laguerre on the coverage.
And lets this ball go. It's the timing route, but see the ball's clearly thrown before he comes out of the break. Not quite on the same page with Kyle Anthony, their go-to wide receiver.
And so now you're at 3rd and 8, Jay, and an obvious passing situation here. What will Brennan Marion elect to call?
They like to surprise you. So they'll come out with a funky formation, but really they like to flood zone. So they'll flood one side of the field.
Play action. Newton had some room and instead tosses it in the end zone. And touchdown to Kyle Anthony. A big 3rd and 8 play. Kalen Newton from one captain to another.
So it comes down to the catch. Gets outside of the pocket. Does he do a good job? Nice job dragging the feet with the stutter step. It's college football. You only need one toe. You don't even need the whole foot, just one toe to be in. That's it right there with the drag on the left foot behind him for the score.
Anthony, a first-team All-MEAC selection a season ago, and the junior out of Miramar gets the touchdown. The Bison going for 2 here.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Reprime it down.
That can't happen. You've got a formation that you practice all week long. You need 3 yards to get it. Now you get the false start, and then you're forced to go for a point after attempt now. That's a mental error.
Joseph. And the PAT goes through.
Going back to that touchdown. Gets outside the pocket. This is where he can hurt you, either running or throwing the ball. And good job by Kyle Anthony. Showing you why he's the leader. He's a guy that's big, he's physical. Does a great job with those 50-50 footballs.
Well, you can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus, so start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com.
Now, I'm a Howard guy. We ain't going to win that battle. You can't show the Howard band with the marching Wildcats in the building.
When your band is on Netflix and they have a special called Marching Orders, it's tough for any band to compete with that. And that coming from a Rattler.
A Rattler from Florida A&M.
That's right.
Call it what we see. Bethune Cookman, one of the best bands in the country.
Jimmy Robinson on the return. And Robinson still on his feet.
Oh, wow.
Robinson with an opportunity. He's got the Jets. The burners are on. Down the sideline. Touchdown. 94 yards.
Strike up the band.
Well, a huge answer there for the Wildcats.
I mean, he seems like he's going down, catches this ball, and you'll see at least 3 white jerseys around him with an opportunity to bring him down. 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, 3. Then it becomes a foot race, and we talked about the speed of the team from Florida. Jimmy Robinson turns on the Jets with an opportunity to tie this game up with a made extra point.
Hernandez boots through the PAT, and we're tied once again.
You have to bring him down, and that's where the big missed tackle was, but too much arm tackling going on, and then you see a leg whip there, and he had an entourage to escort him down the sideline for the score. Great job by the senior from Palm Coast, Florida, Jimmy Robinson.
They say he's got 4.3 40 speed, and he replaced his cousin, Quayshawn Bird, who went down with an injury on a return. They've got speed, and nothing but speed. Good look at the marching Wildcats band. Let's listen in.
I call them the marching white hats. When they put the white hats on, they're ready to get down.
You know what song this is? Yeah! Come on, wait a minute, come on. Yeah! Okay, that's all I'm gonna give you, Jay. That's all I'm gonna give you. I need you to fill me in, partner. Come on now, don't leave me.
Too late, I'm old school.
Michael James brings it out for the Bison. Can he answer? Just across the 31-yard line. When you look at these 2 drives for Howard, they've been able to score touchdowns on plays of 10 yards or more. 13-yard pass on that last touchdown completion to Kyle Anthony. They've also been able to milk the clock as well. Rather, I should say, they've milked the clock for 10 plays or more. The last one on that Anthony touchdown.
Yeah, they moved the ball well, but all that gets negated by a 94-yard kickoff return. All that hard work you've done, and then all of a sudden the offense is back on the field.
Out to Ezzard. And Ezzard, the junior out of College Park, oftentimes draws a lot of attention for good reason. First team All-MEAC. And Mike London knows he's got some special players at the skill position.
And this is a very young team. Very young team. Overachieved a season ago, came in 2nd place in the conference, and they're back for more this upcoming season.
And Reynoso quickly brought down. And you're talking about the youth of Howard. So many freshmen and redshirt freshmen and sophomores. Iggy Reynoso, one of those true freshmen on the team.
Yeah. When you see him on the 2-deep depth chart, that means they're playing in the football game. Very young, but it took a youthful movement. And Mike London ultimately was the guy to bring Howard back to respectability with the program. And he's grown with these young men. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do in the upcoming years.
And I think the question is, are they real, Jay? You know, after their season opening win against UNLV, which was one of the biggest upsets in college football history, can they find a way to repeat now that teams are expecting them and know what's coming a little bit more?
Yeah, you know, my question is how they're going to handle the yard. You know, when you have some success on the yard, the world's most famous yard, you have to stay focused and realize you're there as a student athlete first. And Howard University, they seem like they're trying to get things done.
End of first quarter, it's 14-all. We've got a ball game from Nat Town for their Circle City Classic. Come back with us.
Yeah.
Back here in Indianapolis, a very familiar sight, the Formula One cars for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we start the second quarter here at Bethune Cookman and Howard, all knotted at 14, the 35th annual Circle City Classic inside Lucas Oil Stadium with Jay Walker, Tiffany Green, and the Bison moving from right to left. A little too anxious up front for the Wildcats.
false start. Offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, still, first down.
So some movement up front, and as you see, both Howard and Bethune Cookman have done a good job of moving the ball, just their second team penalty there. And lofting it up dangerously is Newton, but a flag coming down in the backfield as Newton released it.
I got roughing the pass.
What was that? There was only one person moving on offense for Howard. The rest of the wide receivers just stood in place.
Roughing the passer with target. Defense, number 42. The previous play is under further review.
Whoa. This could be an interesting turn of events if Trenton Bridges is ejected from the football game with the targeting. Coming around.
I don't know if I see it. I mean, certainly he...
Yeah,
it's a subjective call, and this is one that's kind of difficult. I don't feel like he led with the head of his crown trying to...
But I think what they're looking for is could he have avoided the big hit, the contact with the helmet. It looks like he went lower as well to maybe get that little lick in on him. I mean, the true intent, we've seen a lot worse target. We know that we use the crown of the helmet, but I think it comes down to the intent. What was his intent? Why did he lower his helmet? And we definitely saw the helmet come down a little bit. Why? He could have easily just gone with the shoulder.
And just reminding you of the targeting rules involves launching or upward thrust or severe strike, a 15-yard penalty, but also possibility of ejection from this game. In the first half of the next, and Trenton Bridges out of DeLand, Florida. So the Central Florida area product, a fifth-year senior for the Wildcats, was a starter last year. And that's a tough call, Jay, from my eyes. You could see it differently, and the officials could as well.
Because I'm starting to get it now, like, what's your intent? Sometimes bad things, you just lower your level, your pad level, the helmet, you hit him. But in that case there, it's like, did he have an opportunity to not make contact with his helmet? And it looked like he tried to make contact with the helmet of Kalen Newton towards the end. And, and they're trying to protect quarterbacks. But it's so close. Was there any damage done? I don't think there's any real damage done. So I wouldn't be surprised to let him continue to play in this football game. But here's the issue. He's coming and see, he lowers that helmet, but it's not bad. I don't think that's bad enough to warrant a targeting penalty ejection. Penalty's going to stay. But the ejection part of it, no, but he got very close. Right. And that's when we pull him to the sideline like, hey, you know what the rules are. In today's college football landscape, 9 times out of 10, you will get ejected for that. I just think he didn't lower his helmet low enough for a targeting penalty or for the ejection.
And so they're still reviewing it here. Again, you mentioned the intent of it. Did you feel like it was a dangerous blow or strike?
If they're still reviewing it, maybe they're taking a look at it a lot closer than we are. Let's see what they say.
After further review, the ruling on the field has been changed. There was no targeting. However, we do have personal foul, roughing the passer on the quarterback. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, automatic first down. Number 42 is not disqualified from the contest.
So the defense did a good job of sniffing out. This is a little gimmick play here. You're only going to see one guy running for the wide receivers. Everybody else is just looking. So they tried to fool Bethune Cookman because the offensive line was blocking. However, Trenton Bridges bailed him out with a roughing the passer penalty.
So that brings up 1st and 10. The Bison just across midfield. And the pass out to Ezzard, and Ezzard is wrapped up very quickly by Jamari Laguerre, and Laguerre has been incredibly active. Had 8 tackles last week.
Check this out. Count the number of people on this side of the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive targets available for a catch there. That's where they try to just outflank you, out-gimmick you a little bit. They do a good job of it consistently.
Lost 2 on that play. The handoff to Parson. Parson was a bright
What was
spot.
your last word you just said? What happened on the last play? What happened?
Negative.
Lost 2.
Lost 2.
They've been running the heck out of the football, but they still continue trying to force feed the passing game. Dominate the line of scrimmage, run the football, then know you have the ability to pass. That's the only thing I would question in terms of what's going on right now. You're controlling the line of scrimmage. You're running the football 5 yards a pop. I think they're abandoning the run a little bit too quick.
They had about 85 yards in that first quarter. And now 3rd and 7. Newton, dangerous throw. Kyle Anthony somehow holds on to the football and his helmet pops off.
That's what you want your captain to do. Make the big plays when you need it. 3rd down is the money down. And watch him hold on to this after they hit from behind.
And Devontae Lawrence just delivered a blow. One of the leaders in the secondary for the Wildcats. Pop!
And that's what you call a clean hit. That's a football play right there. Drive through them. Now they should be running the ball on 1st down. They're coming out throwing again, a little overly aggressive.
Felt like they had the coverage.
Be quiet, Jay Walker.
One-on-one opportunity. Jaquez Ezzard. Yes, sir.
Take that, Jay Walker. How about we show off the dime? What an accurate throw from Kalen Newton to Jaquez Ezzard. We talk about they've got some skill guys that can get behind you, and this is a nice pocket and just a perfectly placed ball. Hey, that's sweet.
36 yards for the touchdown to Jaquez Ezzard. Boots it through. It's 21-14. Ezzard showing his speed.
Media timeout.
Newton showing off his accuracy.
You know what you tell them? You just run down there. Once you get about 35 yards down the field, look in your right pocket. I'm going to put the ball on the money.
Sunday Night Baseball. Red Sox Indians tonight at 7 on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
Madam Walker Theater, built in 1927, had the opportunity to tour with the chairman of the Madam Walker Theater Board, Joyce Rogers, as Madam C.J. Walker was the first self-made female millionaire in the United States, currently under a $15 million renovation project. It was absolutely a delight to just walk through the history. Of course, Madam C.J. Walker, well known for her beauty and hair care products. I have to shout her out and say thank you. Hope she's listening up above for that hot comb that she created. Got to get those edges right.
I was going to ask you, sister. Hey, what's up, sister? What did you take away from that experience?
Well, the ingenuity and then the perseverance and the resilience of a woman like Madam Walker as Robinson is brought down. Because when you think about a woman who came from underprivileged beginnings, born to enslaved parents 2 years after the Civil War, and then she goes from a washwoman worker earning $1.50 a day to a millionaire, no formal education. I mean, that is a true American success story.
I would agree with you there. And I used to always tell everybody, I'm some kinfolk to Madam Walker there, but it didn't make it, the trickle down effect wasn't there.
Her legacy is all the more impressive. 4 generations ran that business, and now they're continuing to keep it alive. Just so watching the generational wealth, helping women get opportunities and jobs and to make money. She was a philanthropist, an activist. Just remarkable. 2nd and 5 now for the Wildcats, just crossed the 20-yard line. And the pressure coming from Williams. And interestingly enough, Jay, we've talked about the 2-quarterback system at the top of the broadcast. We haven't seen David Israel.
I think when they made the decision to go with Williams, it's almost like, okay, he earned the starting job. He's going to be our starter until he messes up. And that was one of the things we were asking the coaches, well, what makes you determine who goes into the game? They were saying the hot hand. I just got the feeling that Williams hadn't earned the right to be the starter, where Israel was competing, but Williams is the guy they think can lead this team more successfully.
Strong throw there to Jonathan Thomas to pick up the first down. Thomas made some big plays in the last 3 weeks for that wide receiver core.
And what does that mean as a quarterback? Like, if you're the starter in trench, you can get a feel for the game. You can make a couple mistakes, see something, hold on to the ball a little bit longer rather than try to force it and always be a spectacular play on every single play.
Rolling out and falls into the hands of Jalen Smith. Smith in for the score, but there's a flag down on the field.
Flag is where you normally find holding. And if that's the case, this touchdown may stand for Howard.
Holding. Offense. Number 58. That penalty declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
You called it, Jay. The pick six stands for Jalen Smith and a huge play for this Bison defense.
And not bad quarterbacking by Williams. Williams gets outside the pocket, catchable ball. Receiver has to make that catch. Instead, ball tips up high. A good job by Jalen Smith. Johnny on the spot for the score.
Well, Williams had an opportunity looking for Jonathan Thomas. Instead, Jalen says, I got other thoughts. 38-yard INT return for a touchdown.
And new ESPN app. Now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now.
Back here, the 35th annual Circle City Classic. The Bison creating some separation here with 11:59 to go in the second quarter as the pick six ignited the Bison defense.
That was huge because both offenses were on fire, moving up and down the field at will pretty much. And then the Howard defense comes up with the turnover to give Howard a bigger lead, a little bit of breathing room.
Here's Robinson. Remember, he had a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And look at him once again. He's got an opportunity. Man goes down. You can't hold him back. Jimmy Robinson once again. Oh, my goodness.
Memo to Howard University. Kick it out of bounds. The kid has 4-point-something speed. Coach said it could be less than 4.3. And he's showing it's on full display. He's the fastest man on the field. Watch him hit this crease in a hurry. And he turns on the Jets, and it's over. It's over. Look at that. He's telling you, I got two. That's my second.
Shooting the deuces. Sports Center top 10 moment for that 99-yard return. What'd you think, Jay?
He's got jets. They told us how fast he was. And then you can tell when you see a guy in person. I mean, when he hit a second gear, it's like, whoa, he's moving. And I've seen some guys do it over the years, and look at that. That's deuces, y'all. A lot of twos on that screen. 2 touchdown returns, number 22, 2-2-2. I think that's going to be the last return opportunity he should have. I think if you're Mike London, you start to do the pooch kick to keep it out of his hands.
Well, the extra yard for teachers is a week-long celebration of educators led by the College Football Playoff Foundation through its Extra Yard for Teachers platform. Today on the concourse was the Education Day party, where universities and local groups reached out to the community to promote furthering their education.
Alabama A&M a little representation there.
Got to show some love, and look at there, the Cousins once again said, you know what, I got you. Quayshawn Bird went down earlier in the game. Jimmy Robinson stepped in. 3 returns for 202 yards and a couple of scores.
You said it earlier. Robinson's not even the starting return man. Coach Sims, what were you thinking about?
Jones coming back. Solid return for the Bison. And Jay, the last time you saw Howard on the field on offense, you said, hey, maybe they should continue to run the ball. And then what happened? Newton with a strike to the end zone.
Threw a dime. That was on the money, a perfect pass. The perfectly placed ball on first down. And you give him a pocket, he can hurt you, but the location of the throw, only one person going to catch that football, and that's going to be for a score. Nice throw. However, I still think first down, they need to get back to running the football.
Well, they must have heard you right there. Is Raquez Brannon, his first carry of the game, the senior out of Durham, North Carolina.
And that run there, it's not sexy. It's not exciting, but it wears down the defense. You've got a defense for Bethune-Cookman coming on the field saying, let's go, we're hyped up, we just scored. Well, if you can run the ball on them, you take their heart, and you start to gash them. I mean, they're running the ball pretty effectively against a team right now that is trying to find a way to make a stop.
That brings up 3rd and 3 from the 41-yard line. Once more in 3 straight runs, Iggy Reynoso pushes forward for the first down.
Yeah, and you're enforcing your will, and this is demoralizing to them. You know, this team has not stopped. Bethune-Cookman off defense has not stopped the Howard offense. And I think when you continue to run the football with the success, you have to force them to get out of it. So we'll start to see the adjustments. So now Bethune-Cookman realize they're getting pushed around a little bit. So what do? Look how close that man's getting to the line of scrimmage. They're packing the box. Now they're set up for a throw.
They were expecting Newton to go somewhere, and Trenton Bridges in on the stop. That was one of the things that they wanted to do, was make sure they respected Newton's ability, but they snuffed him out.
And this is a good job by Bridges. Watch him. His job, don't let anybody get outside of you. You see him, he's looking at him. No, you're not getting outside. I've got one job. It's to make you go inside. That's how you play that inside linebacker position.
Well, these two teams met a season ago. It was Newton's run in the final minute to give the Bison the advantage and victory over Bethune-Cookman. Here they have a 7-point lead midway through the second.
And right now, Howard's facing 3rd and long, which is, the chances are you're probably not going to convert. Bethune-Cookman's going to get the football back with some momentum. You know, something about special teams plays for a touchdown that really excites you. Howard had it for a minute with the interception for a return for a touchdown. They lost it with the kickoff return. And if they have to punt this ball away, Bethune-Cookman's going to change the momentum here in the second quarter.
6 for 8 on 3rd downs today for Howard. Newton with all kinds of room, but he's swallowed up near the 50-yard line. Tydarius Peters in on the tackle, and so that will bring up 4th down.
Punt. We know they like to go for it on 4th down, but 4th and 4, I think you bring out the special teams unit.
Well, this looks to be a risky move if London holds his offensive unit on the field.
I'm shocked that they're going for this.
A punt has not been attempted today, Jay, by either team. Okay. Oh, and there we go. We got our first one right there. Newton almost able to pin them deep into their own territory.
Yeah, this is college football. Yep. It's where you make contact with it. You can go into the end zone with the football. So great job on special teams.
On the field.
48-yard punt from Newton and downed at the 1-yard line by Jaquez Ezzard. And appreciating the effort is obviously his head coach for doing a terrific job right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a sprint to the end zone to get to that football. It was all effort. You could have easily let it go in, but Mike London does a great job of congratulating his player. And people say, hey, what does he have? It's that it factor. He was the first one to run over to Ezra and say, that's a great job, when the rest of the team kind of took it for granted.
In dangerous territory, and Williams having to run out of his own end zone. Pushed out by Jalen Smith. So 2nd and 3. And this has really been a back and forth battle. Both teams wanting to run up as many points as possible. Washington with the carry. And stopped by Tyler Fuller, and getting a good push up front on that offensive line. Number 57, Dwayne Brown. What an incredible story. He had nearly cancer-free after these last 2 years, but he noticed something a little different when he was at Eastern Michigan, went to the doctor. His mom said, hey, why don't you go get it checked out? And originally from Indianapolis, so a hometown guy is Malik Jackson with the reception. And so when you look at a guy who says, I'm going to go in, get some tests, I saw some severe weight loss and drop, and he found out in July of 2015 that he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at stage 4. So he started going through rounds of chemotherapy, battled his way back, and now he's on the field once more, this time for the Bethune Cookman Wildcats. And his mom is here in the stands. Misty Trotter getting a chance to see her son play, who she doesn't get a chance to see him play very often, but now that he's back home, what a homecoming this is.
And that's what college football is all about. Young man just wants to play the game. You know, get healthy, and once he got health, he couldn't take away his desire to want to play the sport. And, you know, he's that guy on that offensive line for Bethune-Cookman. Heck of a football player, all-conference performer. He makes it go.
And Coach Sims just said, how would you best describe a guy like Dwayne Brown? A warrior.
A warrior with a big heart. It doesn't help when that warrior, it also helps that warrior 6'3", 340 pounds, and can be effective as a pulling guard.
How fitting that is, because his hometown high school of Warren Central, their mascot, the Warriors. This one tipped up. And now it brings up 4th down for the Wildcats.
And for the first time in this game, we've seen both defenses make stops. So maybe all the excitement is kind of settled in, and now we're starting to see the defenses show up here in Indianapolis. Keep this 7-point ball game.
Getting our first look at the senior out of Miami, Giovanni Francis, for the first punt of the afternoon for the Wildcats. Ty Freeland back to return it, and just watches it bounce out of bounds. So 6:23 to go, looking at the canal at downtown Indianapolis.
With the best excuses for ditching work, free tickets to a day game. And there's nobody here with me.
Let's take a look at today's Bringing the Flavor, brought to you by McDonald's. Was from this morning's parade for the Circle City Classic. Always a treat through the streets of downtown Indianapolis. Did you see Ronald McDonald there getting in on action?
No, I didn't see him.
He was doing a little line dance.
And that's good. I mean, for years, we talked about this was, when I was in college, this was the #1 HBCU event. I mean, it was bigger than all of them. Indiana Black Expo did a fantastic job, and it's good to see them tradition. And they're bringing back the Circle City Classic. You can tell this is a mainstay in HBCU football. it's good to see all the things that go along with it.
And terrific programming throughout the weekend. We talked about the parade, also the NCAA getting in on some of the action, hosting both the teams for luncheon.
And what about the concert you went to last night?
Well, you know, drop that in there as well, a little concert action. Yeah, the OJs.
The OJs.
Been doing it for 59 years, folks. Big ups. 3rd and long. Newton may have been hit on that throw, and it's intercepted. Marquise Hendricks picks him off. That's his first INT of the season for the Boise State transfer. He's got Kevin Thompson to thank for bringing the pressure to Newton.
Yeah, we saw consecutive plays. Number 91, Kevin Thompson, start to become a factor, just not giving up on his pursuit of the quarterback. Nice spin move to the inside. And the senior from Baltimore, Maryland, forces an interception, and Bethune-Cookman with great field position and an opportunity to tie this football game.
And Hendricks getting a lot of love on the sideline as his father, Jack Hendricks, played for Bethune-Cookman in the 90s. And so with that great field position, sits Kalen Newton and the Bison offense down. And Wildcats deep in their territory in the red zone now. The handoff to Ismi. He's cut down.
How about this? Talk about the chess match between the coordinators. Well, Alan Suber elects to go with the full house backfield with Williams, the quarterback, underneath the center. So they're giving you a power I formation, ready to play some smash mouth football until the offensive lineman jumps, and a whole week of preparation is just down the drain now.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still, 2nd down.
And our guy, Dwayne Brown, the guilty party there. Now 2nd and 11. We see Williams go back to the shotgun. And the handoff to Ismi. Ismi trying to run behind some tackles, crowded over there. Tyler Fuller in on the stop.
I think if you're Howard, you have to keep Williams in the pocket, but yet play good man-to-man, inside-out defense.
Williams finds his man.
Of course.
End zone, touchdown. And how about it? Jimmy Robinson once again.
Robinson proving he can do it as more than just a special teams player. All starts with a nice solid wall protection. Get rid of the ball quickly. Beat your man hard on the inside. A little touch pass over the top. And we're an extra point away from having a tie ball game.
I like the fact that Robinson just can't be touched at any point, whether it's on kickoff returns or they're on that 8-yard touchdown reception. Well, this is a ball game. This is a back and forth battle, but it's fun to watch, Jay.
It is, and that was set up by the running game. So by them setting up the running game, that enabled them to sneak in the slot receiver behind them. So it all comes down to the first thing you're thinking about is, okay, what's the run? It's a stop block? Nope. One move, one cut. That's easy. That's how you draw it up. But it was the action in the backfield that actually had the play action fake, which had brought the linebackers up, which gave you such a wide open throwing lane.
So Mike London saw a 14-point lead disintegrate very quickly. And with just over 4 minutes to go before the half.
Well, they've given up 2 kickoff returns, and they just gave them great field position there. So 21 of the 28 points for Bethune-Cookman have been almost gift wrapped by Howard. We find ourselves in a tough football game now, tied at 28.
Well, we wanted to see, and I think the coaches were equally as interested to see how both teams would respond, what teams would show up after facing off against some FBS opponents to start the season. Well, our Week 3 Monday Night Football matchup has Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and the Steelers in Tampa Bay to take on Mike Evans and the 2-0 Buccaneers, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Also simulcast on ESPNU in Spanish. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Football and the countdown at 6 o'clock. Darius Leonard, the second round picked out of South Carolina State, now with the Indianapolis Colts. And boy, he is having an impressive rookie season, leading the team in tackles, and he had a fantastic weekend last week as Dedrick Parsons breaks through the lines. But 18 total tackles, a sack.
Was that a tease?
Yeah, perhaps. Could we think about some of the top HBCU players currently
from the MEAC
in the NFL, from the MEAC to be specific? Also,
hold on to that. Slow down now. Slow down, Rook. Now it's called Jay's Give Me Five. It's not called Tiffany's Give Me Five, all right?
Well, you know what?
It's called Jay's Give Me Five.
This is you just trying to protect yourself so that when folks see the list, you can say, look, this is just my opinion.
So I'm going to give you the top 5 NFL players currently from the MEAC. Now, if it was your list, you'd have done all HBCU, but it's Bethune Cookman, it's Howard University, it's MEAC specific. And then maybe you do Tiff's little give me 6 or something like that.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, I can get in on the action, Jay.
No.
Don't dismiss me like that. Come on, man. Amir Lewis on the carry.
Now, I think it's important right now that Howard close out the first half. So what you have to be thinking far ahead, you say, you know what we're going to do? At halftime, very least we're going in tie ball game. If we go in with a lead, that's great, but we're not going to take chances to put ourselves going into the locker room trailing by 3 or 7 points because they were up by 14 not too long ago.
Philip Fleming, the injured Bison, on the field. So, Jay, looking around the HBCU landscape, your power rankings. Jay's power rankings.
And it's called like I see it. Howard number 5. I mean, they're 0-2, but good football team. They're number 5. Number 4 is going to really surprise some people. Haven't seen them this low in a long time. Grambling, defending winner of the SWAC 3 consecutive years. They just got to show me something. They came off a tough loss versus Northwestern State on this level. They haven't done it. I like Prairie View. I like what I saw there. Now, are they going to beat Grambling and Dallas? I don't know, but that's the game there. I like what they're doing there with Eric Dooley at Prairie View A&M as the new head coach. Deuces, how about this? A lot of people don't know about Big Blue from Tennessee State University. Rob Reed, impressive victory over what we're seeing as a pretty good Bethune Cookman team week 1. We'll see how they make it through the OVC. And number 1, come on now. Come on, everybody. They're number 1 in Black College. They're number 4 in the FCS, one of the best HBCUs in the country right now. The hottest team in the country, North Carolina A&T, longest winning streak in FCS. And on the bubble, we'll see what Fred McNair and the Alcorn State Braves can do on the reservation. But a lot of this has to play out.
Yep.
A lot of it has to play out.
Can North Carolina A&T go undefeated again this season? Will be the big question, as another look there at Philip Fleming being 10-2 on the field. They brought the air cast out just as a precautionary measure, and now the medic cart is being rolled onto the field. Fleming, a junior out of Hopkins, South Carolina, left tackle for the Bison.
And Fleming is out. He will be replaced by a true freshman in Bobby Tehan. So a young team just got a little bit younger.
We'll see what happened to Fleming. Left side of your screen, number 79.
Just got rolled up on by Devin James. And that happens in the game of football. That's the downside of the sport. And this is the offensive line was a area of concern for the Howard football team. And I think when losing Fleming, that's an area they don't have a lot of depth. As a matter of fact, all of the backup linemen for Howard University on the offensive line, they're all true freshmen.
So Fleming being helped up. You see that air cast around his right leg. We hope all the best for that young man. And you can see the obvious emotion of the young man. And so he will be placed on the card as both teams just watching on. Kalen Newton will have a new left tackle, Bobby Tehan, as you mentioned, the freshman. And just quiet time really inside the stadium as Terry Sims also went over to check on the Howard player. Now, this is a team, as you mentioned, Jay, that has a lot of new faces, a big group of youngsters in terms of the freshman and sophomore class, 66 in total on this Bison roster. And you mentioned, Jay, this happens all the time in the game of football, however unfortunate it may be. What are you as a player thinking about on the sideline as you're watching your teammate down?
Yeah, you kind of like, oh man, we hope it's not serious. So there's really nothing you can do. It's out of your hands. So I think you do what most teams do. And we saw the football team from Howard do. You take a knee, you say a prayer for them, hope that it's nothing serious. And you don't really worry about them coming back in this game. But at the same time, you're like, next man up. So you say your prayers for your colleague that's down, but then it becomes next man up. And now you go in there and you talk to Bobby Tehan and you say, hey, here's your opportunity. You're on scholarship. You get a chance to go out here and prove what you can do on the football field. So you just don't know what you're going to get. It does deflate you a little bit, but then that's where you need your leaders to step up and say, come on, let's go out here and do it. Let's do it for Big Phillip, who's not able to play right now.
So they're taking their time with Fleming. And Jay, once this situation is handled, that brings up 3rd and 2 for Howard. And you said all game long that they should be running the ball in this position. What would you do?
I think you probably go behind your best offensive lineman and trying to run the ball because you want the clock to keep going in case you don't get it. And then you want to protect the football a little bit. You've got a true freshman coming in, the left tackle. So I think you come up with one of those formations that we know that offensive coordinator Marion does a good job at. See if you can do something schematically to get you 3 or 4 yards to pick up this first down. Because this becomes a crucial point. If they don't get the football, if they don't get the first down and they punt the ball back to Bethune, if Bethune has any opportunity going into halftime with the lead, oh my goodness, what happened? Because they were dead in the water for a while, but the boys from Daytona Beach have fought back into this football game.
So as Fleming is being carted off, the teams take the field once more. Howard has rushed for 125 yards on 24 rushes, make it 25. And
second effort.
Look at that second effort by Iggy Reynoso.
And what they did, smart. They ran behind Big Baby Holman, they call him, James Holman, 6'6", 350-pound cincher. So they ran up the gut for the first time all football game and were able to pick up a first down.
Well, you talked about running behind your best offensive lineman. Certainly, he's the only returning starter as they graduated a great one in Gerald Wright. Another running play, this time to Parson. Parson, a walk-on from last year. Unsure with what they were going to get from this young man, but the sophomore has made plays out of Philadelphia.
And this is when you slow down. I'm not stepping on the gas pedal. I would snap this ball till you had like 10 seconds left just to ensure we get the last possession.
Newton not sure how he got rid of that football, but finds Parson. So the Bison offense continuing to move rather quickly as BCU has scored the last 14 points.
See, if you pick up this first down, then you step on the gas. But right now, you take your time, get a good play call.
The handoff. And big hit at the point of contact there. The Wildcats were right there.
Now, if I'm Bethune Cookman, I'm calling a timeout. So I would call a timeout, kind of force Howard to punt the football to me, let him know I can get my defense together and get the ball back with at least a minute and 40 seconds left. A little surprised why timeout wasn't called in this situation. Instead, the Bison help him out by calling a timeout.
First charge timeout, Howard. 30-second timeout.
Well, Sunday Night Baseball at a special time this week, 7 Eastern, as we could see this matchup in October. Red Sox, Indians from Progressive Field. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPNU with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, and both are streaming live on the ESPN app.
A little wave action going on here.
Good times inside Lucas Oil Stadium as the Circle City Classic is seeing a great one here, 28-all between Howard and Bethune-Cookman. And thus far today, Mike London has been 2 for 2 on 4th downs. This time, he elects to punt it. Yeah. Isaiah Moore is in. Gets the punt away, but a penalty marker on the field at about midfield. This is certainly what happens, Jay, towards the end of halves. Sometimes we saw a lot of boom, 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 hitting you right back and forth, and then the game's kind of slowing down now.
And the conference play, they know each other. Bethune-Cookman, they're like relatives. We know who you are. All right, you came out, a couple gimmicks, this and that, but we know what you like to do and how you like to do it, so they settled down. It's becoming a slugfest.
Illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield. Kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. We will have a 4th down and re-kick.
Yep. And I think you just make him get it. It's right down here. You have to be up on a line of scrimmage. That's an illegal formation. Mental error. And now you give Bethune-Cookman an opportunity to set up a punt return. But keep in mind, those 30 seconds they let tick off before Howard called the timeout, I think that may come into play here to end the second half.
So Kevon Mitchell back to return the punt. Shakes one tackler and another. Mitchell once again, and whoa, what a hit! Marquise Hendricks just delivered a mean block.
They have taken the momentum from the Bison with their special teams. Watch him set up the block and perfectly timed. Woo. Did a good job. Not targeting because I think he got it was clearly just the shoulder into the blocker.
Well, one of the things that the coach has told us on the call is that he loves to run and hit. Good example there.
I mean, that's just...
But you don't think this is targeting right here, Jay?
When I first saw it, he just timed it up now. He's got bad intentions with this hit. I think he hits him all shoulder. From that angle, does he get him with the helmet? Look, it's heads up, shoulder, tough angle. He's got bad intentions on that, but it's a block.
Video review.
What do you see, Tim?
I thought it was just a little bit closer to the helmet. I mean, I think maybe at bang bang at the same time, but it appeared that he was heading for the head.
Well, it's tough because he's not going square on, right. So it's kind of coming in at a side angle. I think he's leading shoulder first. But that head does go down. That helmet goes down. He's got lower leverage. I'm not saying that's target. I'm saying he was a devastating block, but that's a shoulder. That's a shoulder hit. Coming in at that angle. I mean, that's what you call the set the tone type hit there.
And Sims says we got to tone this young man down and practice a little bit. So see there, Jay, it looks like Hendricks goes for the helmet there, or at least there's the helmet-to-helmet contact.
I think he's trying to make sure he comes across his chest. And I'm still not seeing that. I think if that was a true helmet-to-helmet, I don't even think Hendricks would have got up. Moving as fast as they were moving. I'm going to give him the credit for that right forearm, that shoulder. And, I mean, it's a tough one. And you almost wish that he didn't take that hit on him. But, I mean, he's trying to block for his guy. Right. It's a return. To me, that's just a football play. In football, the phrase is, you always keep your head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. And if this is targeting, and Marquise Hendricks, starting middle linebacker for Bethune Cookman, has to leave this game, mm-hmm. that's a difference maker.
We saw one of the backup linebackers in Trenton Bridges already, with the targeting call, but that was reversed and a personal foul was awarded instead. But Hendricks, you knew what he was going to do. You saw the angle he was taking. You knew he was going to try to peel back right there. But I see the helmet, Jay. And I think if you are watching at home, you're seeing that pop of the helmet as well.
But when we saw the live action, it was, oh, what a good block. So it's going up to the booth. And then, I also say this too, is there enough there you say, well, what the official down on the field saw, the official didn't throw a flag. Mm-hmm. Didn't throw a flag at all. So this is coming from the booth. And then you say, okay, if it's coming from the booth, was there enough there to say that it was targeting, that he led with the helmet? I think there's enough there to say there was some helmet involved, but it was shoulder. Led with the shoulder, happened to make contact with the helmet.
And obviously when it's coming down from the booth and you see a big blow like that, what they're trying to do is eliminate some of those plays because they're looking out for safety first with the player. But I'm gonna be honest, as a football fan, I enjoyed it. But if I'm the mother of the player, I'm somebody's mama, I'm looking at it and saying, you know what? That looked like helmet to helmet on my baby.
Yeah, I mean, did the helmets touch? They might have, yeah. We don't have a clear angle that says they definitely touched. Now, maybe they have something else. But I clearly thought, he went there to make sure he hit him with the shoulder. It's football, and I'm all for player safety, but the way Coach Sims is looking, it looks like this could be an ejection. And
all right, here's the call.
After further review, personal foul with targeting. Return team, number 19. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down, Bethune.
So, my eyes lied to me. When you all said it there, it was a
number 19
helmet to helmet.
Disqualified for the remainder of the contest.
You see the reaction from head coach Terry Sims, none too pleased.
So I think the question becomes, do you tell him not to make that block? Or, is it just because the helmet's connected that's the ejection? Is he not supposed to make the block? It's that gray area, and you feel for the ejection for Bethune-Cookman.
Now their offense trying to get on the board and take the lead before going into the locker room. A scramble after first down, and you see Hendricks just upset. And in his mind, I'm sure he's feeling like, I'm just making a football play.
Yeah. And that's the part of the rule that hurts right there. So it was the helmet to helmet. I think that's what becomes ejectable offense there for the targeting.
Ismi still on his feet. Ismi brought down, and the Wildcats have to move quickly. They do have all 3 timeouts remaining, and they'll spin one right here.
Timeout, Bethune Cookman. 30-second timeout.
Well, Howard was able to get on the board first, and they scored 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions, but then an electrifying return, not once but twice, from Jimmy Robinson helped to bring Bethune Cookman back in this one.
And then the Jimmy Robinson touchdown reception as well. So he's been the offensive spark plug for Bethune Cookman here in this first half. And I think it looked like Howard was about to run away with it. Up 28-14, had the momentum. That Robinson kickoff return really got Bethune Cookman back into this football game.
A very important 3rd and 2 for Bethune Cookman. Ismi with the reception, and a flag on the field could come back.
Holding. Offense, number 76. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. Still, 3rd down.
Left guard Cedric Jackson called for the hold.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, but once you start to see a little bit of the drift, that's when you start to normally see the offensive lineman get called for the hold when they lose track of where the quarterback is.
Bethune now with 5 penalties here in the second quarter, and really that targeting call and ejection of Hendricks and not being able to move the ball here on offense. He has slowed down their intentions before going into the locker room. Another opportunity for Williams. Rushed out the pocket with 3 seconds remaining on the clock. And if you're Terry Sims, what are you telling your team? Because obviously this is not the way you had hoped to handle the ball before going in.
Their offense, Howard offense, moved the ball up and down the field on us at will, and we're still tied. It's 28-28. This game is going to be decided in the second half. I think he goes out there and he challenges the defense to do a better job to slow down this Howard offensive attack.
And the Bison will get the ball to start the second half. And that punt should do it. So an exciting first half of football here from Indianapolis for the 35th annual Circle City Classic. It was the Howard Bison that jumped out first, but then Bethune Cookman came right back and found a way to tie themselves up in this ball game. We'll step aside from Lucas Oil Stadium as we've got a good one brewing in the MEAC opener. Halftime coming up. Give me 5 on the way.
Nearly $11,200 total value on this specially equipped GMC Sierra SLT when you finance through GM Financial.
Country Kitchen Soul Food has been a local favorite for 32 years. Started out as a 10-seat diner and now seats 170. Many entertainers and politicians have dined there. Jimmy Fallon, President Obama. I'm talking about, that's good eating right there. Bottom line, I want some.
Seems like I've been there a couple times. You haven't been there before.
By the looks of it.
By the looks of it.
Yeah, about a 28-all. The Circle City Classic continues here from Lucas Oil Stadium. It's halftime. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green.
I'm Country Kitchen. You're not. You're vegan spot.
Vegan spot, you got to throw a little pig feet in there every now and then. All right, so in that first half, certainly it was an exciting one, a back-and-forth battle. Kind of slowed there at the end, though, Jay.
It was, but, I think they settled down to each other. Each team knew what they liked to start doing, so we started to see more what we're going to see in the second half. Teams, conference play, conference opponents, they're going to have to win it in between the sidelines. None of this gimmick stuff they have. You're going to have to go out there and earn it, but we got to take
heed. That ejection at the end of the first half, that could be big. Anytime you lose your starting middle linebacker, puts a lot of pressure on your defense.
Marquise Hendricks out for the rest of the game. Meanwhile, when you're taking a look at some of the HBCU headlines, we saw this gentleman the first week in week 1, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, Prairie View A&M's Dewanye Tucker.
I think he's the breakout star of HBCU football this year. I mean, he did it not only against North Carolina Central, but he did it against Rice, and he continued to do it over and over again. He did it against Sam Houston State. He's a special guy. He's got a little bit of that Tariq Cohen up in him with the ability to make people miss, small in stature frame, but look out. He's an early surprise contender for what I think could be the HBCU Player of the Year, and if he keeps it up, he could be up for that Peyton Award. He's that talented down there in Prairie View, Texas. They've got a special talent there. Know the name, Dewanye Tucker.
Dewanye Tucker, a couple of 200-yard games for Tucker. You talked about Tariq Cohen. He's an alumni of North Carolina A&T, and the Aggies are red hot right now.
Oh, don't touch me. You're going to get burned right now. North Carolina A&T, the hottest thing in HBCU football. They are simply getting it done. Lamar Raynard has never lost a game as a starting quarterback for North Carolina A&T. How huge was that victory? Not only against Jacksonville State, but what about that victory that followed up at East Carolina, going up a level and handling the big boy? North Carolina A&T, hey, they got them rolling. The transition from Raw Broadway to Sam Washington has been smooth.
So where do you see them tripping up, if at all?
We're going to be there. We're going there on Thursday. They play South Carolina State. Buddy Pugh, look out. He's not afraid of the Aggies. And I think at the end of the year, when you're talking A&T, it always comes down to their rival. North Carolina Central has defeated A&T 3 of the last 4 years. We'll see if they can do it this year against the number 4 ranked team in the country.
Lastly, the undefeated recently released their HBCU fan rankings this week, and let's take a look at them. You know, we just saw the Howard Bison on the field. Bethune Cookman, the Wildcats, they're hot right now, too.
They're playing behind us. That's why you can't hear it. But, I've said it for a while. This is the undefeated ranking. There's a couple things I would change in there, but I think Bethune Cookman is the pride of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. A little bit surprised to see Southern number 6. For years, traditionally, they've always been the pride of the SWAC. They're ranked a little bit low. And then I think the one that surprised me, we talked about it, number 4. Now, A&T, your football team's really good, and everything else is hot with A&T. Is your band number 4 in the country? Yeah. We'll see. We're going there. We'll be there next Thursday, so give you a chance to prove that they deserve to be there.
All right, looking at the number 1 band, the Bethune Cookman Marching Wildcats. Thunderous sound on the field here from Lucas Oil Stadium. Listen. Vibing out to the Marching Wildcats band right here up in the booth. I mean, just beautiful sound all the way through. So, of course, Jay, this is your time. It's Gimme 5, the top 5 MEAC players currently in the NFL.
Hey, talk about a little MEAC talent that made it to the NFL. That guy number 7 for Howard University, he made it to the NFL there, so that's why we'll do it. But you said it, the top 5 current MEAC players in the NFL. Number 5, Darius Leonard. He's moving up the charts quickly. Just a rookie, but the starting inside linebacker for the Colts had a monster game. And you know what? This is the place that he calls home. He's the leader of that defense for the Indianapolis Colts. Darius Leonard gets it done. How about this? Ryan Smith from North Carolina Central, steady, shutdown cornerback, plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. They're expecting good things out of him. And you know the MEAC defensive conference, right? So you got defensive guys. Oh, no. We're going to give you some offense now. Number 3, Tariq Cohen. NFC Rookie of the Year last year for the Chicago Bears, can do it all. He's the guy that's carrying the headlines in terms of being the HBCU guy that everybody relates to. Like, oh, he went to a black college? Well, Tariq Cohen put North Carolina A&T on the map, and he's also doing it in the NFL.
Human joystick for sure. So give me those top 2 now.
Top 2, well, the 2 and the 1 depends on what you like. I think football in the MEAC is represented by in the trenches. So Javon Hargrave from South Carolina State, he's been a starter in Pittsburgh ever since he set foot there. 3rd round draft pick, doing well for that defense. And number 1,
and I'm not being subjective here, I'm not showing favoritism, it's the Deuce. We call him Deuce. Antoine Bethea has been in the NFL for 15 years, starting safety there. He's a champion, helped them win the actual Super Bowl here for the Colts, so I give it up to Deuce. And then on the bubble, we got some newcomers there who I think you'll hear about, but also you got to think about a guy like Brandon Parker. Almost became the starting left tackle as a rookie in the NFL. He's also from the hottest HBCU in the country, North Carolina A&T. That's Jay's Give Me 5. You got something to say about it? Hit me up on Twitter at JWalkerSky.
I can't wait to hear what people have to say about it. Solid news from Jay. Come back here to Indianapolis for the Circle City Classic.
The barbecue bacon burger. You can't fake steak.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by McDonald's. Second half action just about to start here from Lucas Oil Stadium. It's 28-all between Howard and Bethune Cookman in the MEAC opener. We saw both of these teams tussling back and forth. The start of the game looked to be in favor of Howard, and they got out to a 28-14 lead. Then Bethune-Cookman answered right back with 14 points. That's where we find ourselves now, as Howard will receive.
And we'll see what the adjustments are. And I always say great coaches make the adjustment coming out in the second half. Well, both coaches have an opportunity to do it because each team was in control, and when they lost it, let's see who can get it going in gear quickest here in the second half.
Well, Kalen Newton, the sophomore signal caller, his highlights from the first half.
They showed you the toughness, and he showed you the arm, the touch on the throws, able to complete all the throws, but ultimately a good decision here with the run-pass option. I thought he played solid in the first half, and this is one of the prettiest balls you can throw right there. That showed you NFL-type precision and accuracy there.
Newton, the younger brother of Carolina Panther quarterback Cam Newton. And this young man, they feel like, has that it factor as well. He's got the moxie, can certainly beat you with his legs, and that deep ball as well. Where's the comparison between the two? Here it is. And 6 foot, that may be a little bit generous for Kalen Newton.
I tell everybody like this. If he's not 6 feet tall, he's not going to my alma mater. He's not going to Howard. But he's making the most of it. And I think he still has the talent, like we said, like a Russell Wilson, to get to that next level because of what he can do. You don't see one man bring him down, and he's poised beyond his years. So he can't control the God-given physical traits that his brother has over him, but he's a hard worker, and he's in a spark, and he's really ignited this Howard football program.
And he completes a pass to Kyle Anthony, and one of the things that Coach London said, you know, if he weren't so bow-legged, he may actually gain a couple of inches in height.
Be 6'3", 6'4", possibly.
Yeah.
But the things that he does, and, you know, had the opportunity to spend some time with him during the summer, and just come away impressed with him. It's not too big for him. Playing quarterback at Howard, not an easy task, but he's handled it well as a true freshman. And Howard was given a gold mine when he decided to walk on to the Howard University football team. And
that was such a neat story, and just learning about it, the fact that he didn't have many offers out of high school, a solid career at Grady High School out of Atlanta, threw for more than 3,300 yards, and then was looking for a place to go. 3 days before he was hired, Mike London says, I'm learning of Kalen Newton coming to my team.
Yeah, I mean, what a gift it was right there to have that. And that's why I say, and you tease me, but I say, you know, Howard, we're an academic institution. So it was the academics along with the athletics that brought him to Howard University, and then having a new coach come in like London, ever since then, it's been record-breaking.
London not deciding to roll the dice here. 4th and 1, punts it away.
Oh, he shanked it.
And that was a shank punt, and good field position to start things off for the Wildcats. We saw Akevius Williams start things out for Bethune-Cookman. For the first 3 weeks of this season, they like to go with the multiple quarterback system, but they've stuck with number 10.
Yeah, you know, the hot hand, and we've seen him make some nice throws here, giving his receivers an opportunity, back shoulder throws. And he's been able to really kind of pick apart this Bison secondary whenever he was given the right time in the pocket. We saw him deliver some strikes. He's a difference maker. And in the open, we said it's going to come down to quarterback play. Well, this football game still is going to come down to which quarterback gets the hot hand.
His numbers today, 138 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. And a handoff to Tupac Ismi. Ismi with a solid run on first down for the junior, brought down by Brian Cook. Cook, a second-team All-MEAC selection, and going with tempo here are the Wildcats.
Yeah,
second and short.
I think the Wildcats decided to make this game a physical game, power running game. I don't know how much run-pass option we're going to see. They're going to try and take the will of Howard.
Ismi, up the gut, cashing them. First down and more.
Effective running. We talk about taking the will of a defense, run right up the middle and pick up big yards like you did on that last play.
Third consecutive handoff to Ismi, and Ismi once more. That's another first down. Jason Robinson in on the tackle.
And they are hurting. Watch this. Corner blitz doesn't get there. What does that mean? There's a gap in the secondary, able to gash him. Fumble. Whoa, that was a fumble.
And that is recovered by the Howard Bison. Jason Robinson on the fumble recovery. So just as the Wildcats were marching down, the ball pops loose.
Yeah, look at this. He's got two hands on the football, but a shoulder directly on the football jars it loose, and Jason Robinson with the hit and the fumble recovery to slow down the Wildcat drive.
Time to pack up, kids.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Get every live game every Sunday at no extra charge when you switch to DirecTV. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Picasso's Sneaker Art Bar in Broad Ripple made these custom shoes. You can also design your own shoes there. They're a sneaker art class for all ages. Carl custom made these Circle City Classic shoes for us. Check out PicassoIndy.com. Yeah, this is fresh. You know what? I'm not sure how I feel about the Howard Bison or the Bethune Cookman Wildcats as a FAMU grad. No, real talk though, they're fresh. They're fresh, like some Chucks.
And they pay attention to detail. Pay attention to detail. Would you rather be lucky or good? Because Kayla Newton got very lucky that last pass there, throwing in the double coverage.
Jaquez Ezer was able to reel it in, 46 yards.
Yeah, great individual effort. You see the crossing route wide open, but they enforced the ball downfield, and what a great individual effort to come away with that ball in double coverage. But that's one of those throws where you got to take the easy throw right in front of you, and he missed the 15-yard in cut, which was wide open.
So the play was whistle dead. And we hear some whistles on the field as there was a carry, second down from Iggy Reynoso. And that was one of the things, Jay, that we heard the coaches talk about with Kalen Newton. We know he can throw the deep ball. You know you can beat him with his legs. But they found like the area where they were looking for him to grow and challenge him was in the intermediate game.
Just take what the defense gives you sometimes. And that's what you have to do. I mean, there are times when you watch film where you see open receivers and he just elects to keep the ball because he's such a good athlete. A lot of guys do that. I mean, a lot of strong arm quarterbacks force the ball in there because they can. But you see right there, Kayla Newton decided to turn on the Jets. And how about that? Quarterback rounds a corner and the defensive back leaves the game. That was a collision there. And Kayla Newton just put the boom
on Tydarius Peters. We were talking about the story of Kalen Newton. Brother of an NFL quarterback, younger brother of Cam Newton. Completes the pass here to Kyle Anthony for the first down.
You know, you talk about who says quarterbacks aren't tough. Well, he's such an athlete. Watch him finish off this run and lower the shoulder. And he doesn't leave the game. Number 21, Tydarius Peters, left the game. Tough kid as well.
That was one of the things that when you watch him, you see that he is a special player. And I think everyone across college football, especially on the FCS level, could see that last year, especially after that big win over UNLV. But when you are a defense and you're planning for Howard, how do you think defenses will attack Kalen Newton now?
Stop him first, continue to make the pocket collapse around him. And then I think what you have to do is because he is 6 feet tall, you have to crowd the passing lanes. Tell your D-line, get in his face, keep your hands up in the air, and just stay active so he can't become an accurate pocket passer.
Oh my goodness! Wide open hole for Josiah Coote and touchdown! 31 yards and he was barely touched, Jay.
Somebody blew an assignment in the run gap protection. When a guy gets this open, gets to the second level, oh my goodness, middle of the field wide open, and maybe that's because Marquise Hendricks not in the game. Their starting middle linebacker. That would be a call that he would have to make, and nobody was home.
Faraji Joseph on the extra point attempt, and it's good. So the freshman out of Washington, D.C., repping for the Bison. 7 yards, 7 rushes, and 2 touchdowns.
Carried off the field.
Ding dong, next stop, beer. Cerveza Express coming through.
Dos Equis, keep it interesante.
Kick off your Week 3 NFL Sunday with ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. Our Sunday NFL Countdown crew will have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and preview each game right up to kickoff. Like everything else, it's live on the ESPN app, so you can catch it anywhere. Well, Jimmy Robinson, they can't seem to catch him today. He's got a school record for a single game of 202 yards.
Squib kick it or pooch kick it or kick it out of bounds. There's the squib.
Wisely, back. Joseph Johnson gets it and he's brought down.
And that's what you do right there. The Bethune Cookman had to know they weren't going to do it. But let's go back to that last touchdown by Howard University. We talked about the formations, how they distract you. Well, by having these two guys in the backfield, take a look at these two linebackers. Both of them are going to peek at the guy that goes to the right. They take a step. They're out of position. Uh-oh, nobody covered the A gap. Where was the other running back going? All that stuff finally worked effectively for Howard with all those crazy formations. And that's one where I really do think it comes down to Marquise Hendricks, the middle linebacker, not seeing that look all week. It cost him a touchdown just now.
Bethune Cookman has been so good on returns, and this time it's a modest field position for them, starting at the 20-yard line. And Williams being pressured, and the pass incomplete to Washington. Tyree Leonard applying the pressure to Williams.
And that's going to have to be one of the keys. I thought that the pass rush really wasn't there for Howard in the first half. I thought Williams had a lot of time and was comfortable in the pocket. I think they're going to ask their defensive front four to get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. And if not, they're going to bring in that extra outside linebacker from a blitz perspective.
Washington with the carry, stays on his feet, spins around, and picks up some solid yardage. Jason Robinson, the first one to get to him.
And Howard on defense, they play a 3-4. Their defensive coordinator, Vince Brown, with the Patriots, he's a Al Grove, Bill Parcells guy. They're 3-4 defense, so 3 down linemen with long linebackers on the outside. But the key is, if you can attack the bubble, you can run the ball versus that 3-4 if your offensive line does it. It seems like Bethune-Cookman's figured it out.
I was going to say, they have elected to go with the run game. They ran the ball somewhat successfully in the first half. They aired it out a little bit more, 14 yards on that game.
And we used to say attack the bubble when you got that 3-4 look, but now the defensive tackle started figuring that out. So what do? A little bit, you give them a little bit of misdirection, and you overload one side and push them off.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12 men in the defensive formation. 5 yards from the previous spot. The result of the penalty is a first down.
And Jay, you mentioned Vincent Brown, also known as the Undertaker, and your former teammate with the Patriots.
Undertaker, the Intimidator. He was a guy, soft-spoken, but when he spoke, oh man, still got those biceps and those guns. And actually played at Mississippi Valley State.
And he was on the team with Jerry Rice, All-American. They were a part of the beginnings of this Circle City Classic. They played in the first two back in 1984 and 85. That pass complete to Malik Jackson. And interestingly enough, they won those first two, but he shared some interesting stories as they beat Eddie Robinson's Grambling State Tigers and they beat Tennessee State, but it was the first time for many of them that they flew on a plane and played in an NFL stadium. It was once known as the Hoosier Dome, and then in front of a huge crowd.
Yeah, Circle City was special. It was the one, and it was that game where you went to, and they never had the same two teams come back to back. And I didn't realize that he was named MVP of that game. Now, I'm assuming it was defensive MVP because anytime it's Jerry Rice, you just assume he was the offensive MVP.
With the Hall of Famer like that, I mean, my goodness.
And Jerry Rice everybody knew Jerry Rice was so good. So his head coach had to disguise him where he was. So they tried everything. Like back in those days, they wear different numbers, but you can figure it out. But his head coach was named Archie Cooley. They called him the Gunslinger. And Gunslinger Cooley was the first guy to come up with all these bunch formations that you see so prevalent today. And he did it just to hide Jerry Rice so he couldn't key in on him.
Is that like the predecessor for like the spread offense? Dangerous throw into double coverage downfield, and Ty Freeland got a hand on it.
Yeah, coming over from that free safety position, number 17. If he times this jump a little bit better, I think he comes away with this interception. You see this ball here, 17. He's got a beat on it, but he jumps too soon. If you just keep running, get it at its highest point, that's an interception. And Arcavius Williams, fortunate that ball wasn't intercepted.
Williams with time once more, closing in very quickly. Is that Howard defense? That was Malcolm Johnson, the sophomore.
So we've seen it at times. Both teams start establishing the running game. I mean, Bethune-Cookman was gashing Howard, and then they come out and decide, oh, let's go for the long ball. Well, 2 incomplete passes, and now your special teams units on the field.
Francis back to kick. Ezzard, the return man for Howard. And seemingly some confusion, needing another man on the field with 6 seconds and counting to go on the play clock. Can they get it off in time? They do. So the touchback, 39-yard punt.
Media timeout on the field.
And again, fresh kicks for the Circle City Classic. Picasso hooking it up. Mike London brought in to take this Howard University Bison program to higher heights, and after last season, certainly the Bison faithful are excited. Went 7-4, finished second in the MEAC. That was the best finish since 2012. If you look at the previous years, from 2005 to 2016, they only had one winning season, Jay.
Yeah, and Coach London came in, and all the alum of Howard, myself included, calling the game, but he put us back on the map, got him going the right direction, and so everybody wants to know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. He just has that it, and it's that it factor. And I think that Howard got a great steal in getting London as the coach there.
Played at Richmond and then coached his alma mater, the Spiders, to an FCS championship back in 2008. Then stayed in his home state of Virginia. Went on over to UVA, and this one airing and out, and what a catch, one-handed by Jaquez Ezzard. Yeah, I think that's a SportsCenter top 10 play.
Oh man, look at the concentration. Makes the catch with one hand, palms it. He's ready to run after the catch.
That was special. You go, boy.
Well, they say good offense beats good defense.
The pitch out to Parson. And Ezzard standing at 5'9", not necessarily the biggest guy on the outside, but Jaquez Ezzard showing off the hops, the concentration, and the Odell Beckham-esh catch.
Yeah, he's a burner. He's a 5'9" speed guy, most explosive guy there. But you give me a small burner with some hands like that, oh, he becomes a weapon.
It's that Stephon Diggs commercial. Everything just sticks to his hands, huh? Newton across the middle. Justin Chaney is tied in. Hauls it in.
Good job by Chaney. We talk about it, the benefits of having a tight end that can go to three-point stand.
Ezzard once more one-on-one coverage with Jamari Laguerre, and he gets it, and then that 24-yard reception from Chaney puts the Bison in the red zone. So a good dose of balance here from the Bison offense. What are you liking right now?
They got the up-tempo. I think they still, with the linebacker out of the game, I still think you run the football. But if you give them a formation, these linebackers, the backups, haven't shown how to adjust. So you can give them some confusion with the pitch.
The pitch right there on the outside. Reynoso is diving for the end zone, and he's in. The true freshman with the score.
That's a nice play, because when he actually caught that pitch, he was about 10 yards away from the end zone, a little bit too far back than you would like to have your pitch man, but he was still able to get to the end zone with one cut going downfield, catches it on the 10-yard line, makes a guy miss, and just able to get the ball across the goal line for what the officials call a touchdown, but they may have to take a look at this one.
And they're going to take a look at it.
Is on the video review.
As you said, Reynoso was really close, so they'll review this 5-yard touchdown run to see if it'll hold.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to that knee. He's elevated. I'd say you get that to him.
Yeah,
the call on the field was a touchdown. He stretches out, ball's out there. To me, that's enough for a touchdown.
Yeah. Breaks the plane of the goal line. He has to have indisputable evidence to overturn it. Looks like a touchdown to me as well. And you said it earlier, you know, Jay, this is a group that had to do kind of a running back by committee with Phil Y'all out.
Take a look here. Look where he's going. He gets his ball on the 10-yard line. That's a lot of running for a running back to make somebody miss, and still has a wherewithal to know where the goal line is, take on contact, and get in. And
after further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And that's something where you said before with Phil Y'all, he could do that. Mm-hmm. Phil Y'all was a special back. But these running backs are trying to figure out who's going to be that next Phil Y'all that can be the go-to every down back.
So just like that, the Howard Bison strike back, and that one is blocked and returnable. As penalty markers out on the field. We'll wait to see what the call is here, but Howard coming out looking like a fresh team out of the locker room in this third quarter.
They've made the adjustments. They've been able to keep Bethune Cookman guessing a little bit. But we've seen it with the lead before, how quickly it evaporated in the first half. And Bethune Cookman's hoping they can do the same. And one thing I'm noticing about this Howard offense, they're like ball hogs, you know, in terms of they get the football. Like when I watch their first two games, they're running 80, 90 plays a game on some of the bigger schools that they're not supposed to. And then they come here and they've been holding on to the football most of this game. That's just their style of play, and they're up-tempo, but they run a lot of plays, and they can do that because they get a lot of first downs. They move it. So this offense is it's hard. It's hard to be imagining teams shutting them out or keeping them to a low-scoring game. I think if it's a low-scoring game, then they're in trouble. But if they can continue to move the ball and put up this type of productivity.
After the kick, personal foul, defense, number 55, throwing a punch. Number 55 has been disqualified for the remainder of the contest. We will have a retry of the kick, half the distance to the goal.
That's Todney Evans, who transferred over from Middle Tennessee State, and the fifth-year senior will lead the game.
And they've had low kicks all day, and not a lot of trajectory on this, and good penetration up front. And then if he can scoop that cleanly, if Elliott Miller can make a clean scoop, that would have been 2 points for Bethune Cookman. Look, instead, Coach London saw the low trajectory on that extra point block. So I'll take my chances going for 2.
And bad snap there. And unable to convert either way for the Bison, Kennedy and Dukeway. So you go back on that drive and how Howard was able to score. This was a big play right here, Jay.
Yeah, great concentration there. Back shoulder throw. The left hand is guarded, able to pick it up with the right, and then the option pitch. Pretty good defense, but a little bit better run by Iggy Reynoso.
And we've been giving props to just this Howard offense today. You see 6 plays, 80 yards on that one. Brennan Marion, the architect of the go-go offense. And again, for those around the Washington, D.C. area or familiar with the DMV, what's go-go, Jay?
That little beat with a little drum sound to it. A little Chuck Brown, a little Rare Essence EU.
I love it. I love it. And Brennan said, look, my mom helped me to come up with that. I didn't know quite what to call it, but I came up with something. And now Terry Sims, how will his team respond? Well, we saw in the first half just how well they were able to answer back, much of it by way of special teams. And so the kickoff was out of bounds.
Illegal kick out of bounds. Kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, Bethune.
So the Wildcats will get it at their 45.
Yeah, that's a great field position. You see Todney Evans going to locker room. Second play rejected in this football game from Bethune Cookman. Both of them from the defensive side.
Marquise Hendricks, the other Wildcat, that was ejected back in the second quarter. So Washington with the short run. Aaron Motley in to stop him.
I don't think you run horizontally versus a 3-4 defense. I mean, that's what the 3-4 is there for. You have to attack a crease, run to the bubble, exploit the bubble. Jet sweeps and things of that nature, running sideways, then trying to go vertically against the defense with a 3-man front. That's not the way you do it. You've got to gash them in between the tackles.
Loss of 2 brings up 2nd and 12. Williams finds his man at midfield. Jonathan Thomas collects it.
Well, it's time to get some of the playmakers involved for Bethune Cookman. We know Kevon Mitchell's been a problem for them. Jonathan Thomas. But they came in here really excited about their wide receiver core. They used them early. They've gotten away from a little bit. Maybe need to stretch the defense.
And remember, one of those guys they could place anywhere is the handoff there to Isaac Washington. And Washington with a solid 3rd down run brought down by Jalen Smith.
I kind of gave you the script earlier. When they get in the trips formation with the running back on the trip side, they're going to give them that run-pass option, and they're going to give it to him. Howard forgot. Let Washington gas him. It's the same look right here. They got 3 receivers to the right. They also have the running back to the right of the quarterback. It's one of their base formations. They're going to try and run that read option, give him a chance and come with the run, or the quarterback's going to keep it.
You mentioned, Jay, you were talking about that wide receiving core. You got to also remember that Quayshawn Bird went down in the first half. He was a return man, but also a slot back feature guy in this offense. Malik Jackson, he's got great speed. The grad transfer, number 6. Can they get the ball to their playmakers on the outside? Nuh-uh, says the Howard defense. Aaron Motley coming in off the edge.
Man, that's big time play by Motley. You take a look at Motley's going to explode from here, beat his man on the one side, which is kind of weird, but holds him up inside, holds it firm, not allowing him to read with some penetration, and huge tackle for loss.
Loss of 5. That was Motley's 3rd straight tackle as Williams going up. And Ty Freeland once again making a solid play in the secondary. Francois slow to get up. That was a dangerous throw in the triple coverage.
And put a little bit more firm on this instead of the arc, and the ball was there, but great job by Ty Freeland coming over for the breakup. And once again, that was too much time in the pocket for Williams. Almost hurt Howard for a huge play downfield. Fortunate Ty Freeland was able to get over and break it up for the Bison.
If Bethune-Cookman's going to get back in this one, Jay, what are the adjustments? What do they have to do here on these following possessions?
Well, I think they're starting to gash it with the running game, but just have that option. Use that space that they talked about, the speed and space philosophy that they wanted to use and utilize. But right now, it all starts with you got to have a stop from your defense right now against an offense that's been moving the ball all day against you.
Well, make sure you check out The Undefeated for exclusive HBCU content. Click on the HBCU tab on theundefeated.com. Plus, as we revealed during halftime, check out the new band rankings.
What do you think? Band rankings pretty accurate?
I think it's pretty solid. I think Southern should be a little bit higher. I don't think A&T should have been up there as much. Josiah Crute moving a pile.
That's not the question I was asking. Where was Florida A&M ranked?
And they were 7. If I continue to show my bias toward my alma mater, I may not pick up as many fans as you, Jay.
Well, when your alma mater is Howard University, it's easy to do that.
Oh gosh. The real HU would argue differently. Newton, play action. And in and out of the hands of Anthony.
That was another one of the things, I'm not a big fan of, first down passing. You just ran the ball from the 10-yard line to the 20, running the football, then you get away from it a little bit. And this is becoming a field possession right now. You don't want to have to punt the ball back this far, but you don't have success on first down throwing the ball, then you got to throw it for the next 2 downs. And they're probably coming back 5 yards as well.
False start. Offense. Everyone but the center. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Rory Bernard made that really simple.
So do you know what that means? You're not gonna believe what that means. That means the center forgot the snap count.
That was James Holtman, the one with the most experience up front for the Bison. 8 penalties for 50 yards.
I think it was probably supposed to be snapped on 2 when he snapped it on 1.
Newton being hurried in dangerous territory and barely able to get it away. Applying the pressure was Devin James and Kevin Thompson.
For intentional grounding, the quarterback was outside the pocket and the ball reached the line of scrimmage. 3rd down.
That was close, in watching the film, I was just saying, Kalen Newton covers up a lot of stuff in this offensive line. They don't necessarily do a great job securing their blocks, and he's always under duress. And the ability to make 1 or 2 guys miss just to get rid of that football.
3rd and long, their own 15. And Anthony able to find his favorite man, number 81, and Kyle Anthony.
Wow, and I like the location of the pass. He threw him away from the coverage, slowed him down, threw this post on the back shoulder away so that he could secure the football, wouldn't take any unnecessary hits. Nice placement of the pass, and good job by Kyle Anthony finding the soft spot in the secondary.
Zipped it in there for 19 yards as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Mike London and his Howard Bison has scored 13 straight points.
On the field.
We go to the final period here from Lucas Oil Stadium. The 35th annual Circle City Classic sees the Howard Bison on top.
Heck of a play.
Rated E for everyone.
Back here in downtown, we've gone through 3 quarters, and it's the Howard Bison on top, 41-28.
I'm going to get me a white hat, man. I'm going to get me a white hat.
You've been asking for one. Would you wear it on air? You know, like doing the Indy 5?
Yeah, because I'm always associated with winners, too. So they're the number 1 band in the land. I'm going to rock it.
Let me ask. I'm not going to go there. Let's go with time of possession.
See, this goes back to what we were saying. They're ball hogs. Right. I mean, they've had the ball 27 minutes, 471 yards of offense. You see the number of plays, and that just happened. That's not by accident. I mean, they run 90 plays per game, and they're on their way to doing it again here.
You see on the back of the helmet there, Mission Possible. It's a culture shift that, Mike London helped to bring in for this ball club, and being able to feel like they can win again because it had been some time since they had seen some success in this football program. For that rallying cry, they've adopted a certain standard, and we're seeing Howard look solid in their conference opener.
I think it's Mission Possible 2.0 this year.
And nowhere to go. Wrapped up by some maroon jerseys.
Well, the key is you don't see Newton often get a clean pocket. So let's see, is this a clean pocket? It was there, but then the moment it's clean, Kevin Thompson disrupts it. And you see a lot of guys grabbing Kalen Newton, trying to help him up. But, you talk about that Mission Possible thing. It was one of those things where he said, so many people told us it was impossible to win at Howard. And he said, I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to show you why the mission is possible. So it's not mission impossible, it's mission possible. And everybody bought in on it. Even the guys that were alums of the school said, have you talked to Coach London what he's got these guys doing? It was just a different feel when he took over and said, it's not impossible, it's very possible. And they almost pulled it off last year.
Penalty flag on the punt.
Illegal formations. Kicking team. 5 men in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
We'll step aside quickly. Come back with us to Naptown.
Xfinity X1. Introducing ESPN3 on Xfinity X1.
Bethune Cookman great, and now OC in the booth. It's Alan Suber watching on as his team tries to work its way back from a 13-point deficit. Well, his offense, what will they be able to do? Suber used to hurt us real bad, Jay.
Oh, yeah, Superman. Superman can play now. He was one of those dual threat option quarterbacks that threw the ball better than you expected a running quarterback to do. And like I say, he's got some good philosophies. I like the speed and space philosophy that they have to rely on some big plays to try and get back in this football game.
And he was in the heyday of a great Bethune-Cookman football era. He used to run in the Wyatt Bone. You asked him this week, did he take some elements from that and put it in his offense?
Yeah, he doesn't take any of the Wyatt Bone in him. He ran the Wyatt Bone better than anybody else. And he didn't bring any of that to him. So I was recommending, like, whenever we do a Grambling game, they always do one play in wing T formation as a salute to Eddie Robinson. Well, man, what about Shine? Well, about the Shine era. And, when Suber was there with the Wyatt Bone, you can do a little wing T Wyatt Bone style as a little throwback.
Isaiah Moore on to punt for Howard. And Kevon Mitchell just lets it bounce. So Super was a two-time All-American, a MEAC Player of the Year. The dude was nasty.
Yeah, he could do it. You know, ward number 7 down there. He, along with Stevie Baggs and those guys and Rasheem Mathis, they put him on the map. But then their coach, Coach Shine, his nickname was Coach Shine. Alvin White, they called him Shine. Yeah, I'm giving you a shout out, Coach. He had him going, and then, you know, and he used to dress like that on game day.
Right.
I mean, that's not like his going to church outfit. That's what he wore on the sideline. We miss you, Coach Shine. Those were some good times.
Washington, who has had himself a pretty nice afternoon on the run. Devin Hurtado in on the stop. 13-yard gain, moves the sticks. And we'll see what the Wildcats offense can get going. You know, this is a team where, you know, you ask for really both of these squads who finished second in the MEAC last year. What are their shots and chances of bringing home a MEAC title and knocking off North Carolina A&T?
Howard's got a chance because they don't play A&T this year, so that gives them a chance. I think in terms of Bethune Cookman, the speed, anytime you can run and have the athletes that they have, you have an opportunity to win any given weekend. But they got to cut down on those penalties, though. I still think Coach Sims said we're not going to get penalized a lot. But I just hear from what I've seen a number of penalties. They're still doing the late hits, the roughing the passers, things of that nature. And you can't compete for championships, you know, when you're the most penalized team in the conference.
And some more laundry on the field as the officials talk it over.
Holding. Offense. Number 58. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Second down.
7 penalties for 61 yards today for the Wildcats.
Man, this is going to be on Ramirez here at your left guard position there. They call it for the hold. He's a first-time starter. And he just grabs him. He just outright grabs him with a bear claw. And it's not quite a takedown. You can't have your arms that wide and think the referees aren't going to call that hold. That's just technically not sound. You won't get away with it. Another thing to add on what they're going to need to do to improve for chances, this offensive line's got to get better. 4 new starters on the offensive line. And the coaches know it. That's something they have to do. So you got 4 guys that are starting for their very first year. Dwayne Brown's the anchor, and that's a great anchor to have. But some of the other guys, they're going to have to grow up in a hurry because once you get in MEAC play, then it's all one between the trenches. It's a physical conference, and you have to have a good offensive line.
Dwayne Brown, the Indianapolis native, back in his hometown. Up front here, 3rd and 7. Williams, with all kinds of time, surveys the field, finds Alvin Harper, and Harper is just short of the first down marker. The son of Alvin Harper Sr., the former Dallas Cowboy and Tampa Bay Buccaneer wide receiver.
The Super Bowl champion Alvin Harper.
Going forward on 4th down, the push.
And that last play, that was a good quarterback play by Williams. 3rd and long, had plenty of time, just get a completion. Threw the ball underneath, gave his receiver an opportunity to run for the first down. If you make it close, then they'll go for it. They picked it up on 4th down. But those are the type of decisions that we've seen him make time and time again. And they're down, but it hasn't been his fault. When his offensive line gives him time, he can pick you apart.
The last 2 weeks been the MEAC Offensive Player of the Week. Counted for 4 touchdowns in each of the last 2 games. And that was all coming off the bench. Meanwhile, we haven't seen the West Virginia transfer David Israel at all.
Ooh, he missed a wide open receiver down the field, running up the right side. Great job finishing off the run there by Jimmy Robinson again, but Howard blew a coverage, and there was a wide open Bethune Cookman receiver in the end zone. One of the few misses we've seen from Kevius Williams. But still, offensive coordinators never get mad when you complete the ball and you pick up first downs.
So Bethune moving the ball very effectively, leaves the hands of Williams and then picks it up, trying to find his way to the end zone. And Garrett Reeves with the hit. 17 yards on that QB scamper.
Wow, just missed something wrong there with that snap. I don't know if he dropped it, the center missed his target, but he turned on the jets, turned the quarterback inside out and almost gets it to the end zone. That's just a great display of athleticism by Kevius Williams.
And Williams, you're talking about just how solid of an athlete he is. Also played baseball for Bethune Cookman in his freshman season. And you were a dual sport guy as well in college, so.
Yeah, you see Williams there. And that Bethune Cookman Wildcat baseball team, traditionally the best, or if not one of the best in the conference, year in, year out, number of postseason appearances. Anytime you can play and touch the diamond for the Wildcat Baseball Club, you know he's got some talent, but decided to be a football player. Always tough to play two sports, particularly when your team is counting on you as a trigger man.
Well, Tyree Leonard gets up on his own power, and the Bison defensive lineman will head to the sideline. A good look there to Kevius Williams on your left and David Israel on the right. Israel has not seen action today.
He was a starter for the first 3 games of the season, but now it's been all Williams today, as you said.
Ismi with the handoff, pushing the Powell forward. And he's just short. It looked really close there. I thought he may have gotten in on that extra effort, but instead they'll mark it. And it's 2nd and goal. Looked like some confusion there, and then they get it going.
Sneak. Look out, he fumbled it. Did he get that back? Now, if this one, whoever comes out the pile with the ball should get it. Okay, well, Bethune guy had it, but he fumbled that ball on the quarterback-center exchange. So you'll take a look. Clearly, that ball is down on the ground.
Eldray Barnes, the center, and now let's see what Vince Brown comes up for this Howard defense to try to stop Bethune Cookman on 3rd and goal. Out of the shotgun, the handoff, and was met right there, but to the end zone off the fumble.
We're going to have a lot of stuff going on here. Are they going to mark him down? Are they going to say it's a fumble? Who recovered the fumble? I do see the one official saying, hey, I marked him down short of the goal line. And who comes away with that football?
Well, this is an odd couple of plays. And it's still a tussle there down at the bottom. You've been at the bottom of those piles, Jay. I mean, what goes on underneath
everything? They're grabbing everything, scratching, clawing. And Bethune comes away with the ball.
Kevon Mitchell has it. But we don't know what the call on the field is yet. The refs are trying to figure it out, sort it out.
Yeah, because I think, there's a lot going on. Now Howard's celebrating. Let's get an explanation.
The ruling on the field is a fumble forward into the end zone, recovered by Howard, touchback.
Howard recovered the fumble. Well, there's a lot going on there. Clearly there was a fumble. Was he down or not? Doesn't matter. The referee said it's Bison football.
The previous play is under video review.
That last play was under review, and Terry Sims not happy because it doesn't come out in favor of the Wildcats. A fumble at the goal line from Washington. And then an interesting turn of events. The ball pops out right here off a defender's knee, goes into the end zone, forward. What happens after that, Jay?
And then we said whoever comes out of the pile should get it. Now, we clearly saw Kevon Mitchell come away with it, but the officials ruled that he was not in possession, so something happened in that pile. That's a pretty good recovery there. We saw as the lineman turned that Howard did recover the football in the end zone for the touchback.
After further review, the ruling on the field has been confirmed. The runner fumbled the ball prior to crossing the goal line and was recovered by Howard. 1st and 10, 20-yard line.
And you can just see the look on Terry Sims' face and his disappointment as Mukaka Kasaba was the one who came up with the recovery. 3 turnovers on the afternoon for the Wildcats. And you cannot give points away, especially in a conference battle like this.
And when you're in the trail position, they've been trailing most of this football game, all this football game pretty much. And when you're trying to come from behind, ball security, and I'm just wondering, what was the rush? You got the ball down on the 1-yard line, almost the 1-foot line. They were hurried, trying to get the quarterback sneak. They bobbled that, and then they just didn't secure the ball the last time, which for the fumble. But I thought there was a rush there that they didn't need to have. Just take your time, solidify it, seal the deal on the drive, put the points on the board. Instead, now they've got to look at the clock and this offense.
And the pass complete.
It's a big-time throw. Big-time throw because he's rolling to his left and doesn't really have time to square his shoulders. He's throwing over somebody, and he just reaches back and has the arm strength to throw it off his back foot, going to his left. Accurately catchable ball, big first down for Howard University.
And Jay, when you look at the athleticism and the play of Kalen Newton, do you feel like he would have ended up at Howard University if he was 6'2" or 6'3"?
No. No, I don't think so. I mean, he's got the bloodlines. We all know that. And I just think people took they talked about the measurables, and he doesn't have the measurables that you like in terms of a quarterback. But you put him in the right system, and football players are football players. I mean, Baker Mayfield is 6'1". He was #1 pick in the draft. And that was unheard of, having a quarterback that small. But I think with the spread offense, the way football's changed, guys like Kalen Newton, who are football players, they're proven wide in the field, and they can become offensive weapons.
And how about those Cleveland Browns coming away with a win, their first one since Christmas Eve of 2016, led by Baker Mayfield. The ball pops loose into the hands of the Wildcats, and a change of momentum could come here. Kennedy and Dukeway with the fumble recovery and return.
When things were starting to get hopeless, Iggy Reynoso gives the Wildcats a little bit of hope with his fumble, and the defense takes advantage of it. Kenny and Dukeway sees the ball and able to field it and make some rush. And you have to know they're looking for the strip. That was a great job of strip by the 31, Devin James. Look at this. He knows the situation. Pull it out of there. We knew we were getting the tackle. Did a good job on the strip and a good job by Dukeway with the yards after the fumble recovery.
Well, don't count the Wildcats out just yet. Another opportunity for them. They're only down by 13 points. A score here would bring them within a touchdown. A timeout spent. They tried to get one off, but a penalty flag on the field.
Illegal substitutions. Offense, 12 men in formation. 5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
And Jay, when you're when you're looking at things to change or areas to concentrate on and focus, you talked about Terry Sims and his commitment to try to reducing penalties. But when you get the ball this deep into Howard territory.
Big difference between 1st and 10 and 1st and 15. I mean, those extra 5 yards can come back and haunt you. So now you kind of pretty much take the running game off the table, so to speak, and you have to start thinking we're going to throw for it on consecutive downs.
Oh, Kevius Williams decides to keep it himself, gets on the edge. Easy score! 15 yards from the redshirt junior Williams.
Just a good job, an individual effort of making the read, outrunning the defensive end. Great move to shake the all-conference quarterback and Brian Cook from Howard University to get into the end zone. And Kevius Williams shows you that little special factor that he has.
And the Wildcats only trail by 6 thanks to the run of Kevius Williams. 15 yards into the end zone. We got a game, folks.
Advil Liquid Gels and Advil Liquid Gels Minis. What pain?
ESPN College Football is presented by McDonald's.
The landmark for Peace Memorial at the Dr. Martin Luther King Park memorializes the location where Senator Robert Kennedy spoke the night Dr. King was assassinated. Back here in Lucas Oil Stadium, and Bethune Cookman capitalizing off of both of Howard's turnovers. They've scored 14 points off of them and find themselves within a touchdown. The kickoff, and Jones bringing it out just about the 27-yard line. So turnovers have played and been a key factor here this afternoon, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, they can hurt you there. Howard opportunistic on defense with the pick six that really helped them separate, but then the same things make you laugh. They can make you cry. Bethune Cookman comes up with the interception to set up their offense, and then another fumble going down in the red zone. And we thought this one might have been the game sealer, but then Howard came back and gave it right back to him. Turnover plagued. And at the end of the day, this football game is very much up in the air.
Very lively sideline for Bethune Cookman as Kalen Newton comes out with the run.
You just get the feeling if Bethune Cookman gets that football back with an opportunity, they've been losing the whole football game. If they can get the football back and they're down by 6, not 7, that this could be doomed for Howard University. So I think it's crucial that that young man right there, Kalen Newton, and the offense stay on the field.
2nd and 7, Newton pulls it down, calls his own number again. Once more, Devin James and that Wildcats defense ready to greet him. Devin James brings up now a big 3rd down for Howard with the clock ticking down under 5 minutes. And Howard trying to hold tight to the lead. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. The Bison have been 9 of 16 on 3rd downs. The pressure coming, chased out the pocket. Newton, where does he go? And broken up once again. The secondary and Jamari Laguerre playing up.
Another one of those things where we said Newton covers a lot of the weaknesses in that offense and able to escape. But he's in a full sprint and not able to hold on for one of the few times was Kyle Anthony. his receiver, and good defense by Laguerre.
3 and out for the Bison. Kevon Mitchell on the return. Reverses field. Tries to find a little crease. And pretty good field position to start their drive when we come back here to the Circle City Classic. It's a big one coming up for the Wildcats.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer.
We knew we'd have a good quarterback duel coming in, and they've lived up to the billing. Kalen Newton and Akevius Williams. They've been solid this afternoon and hoping to pull out a W. Can Howard hold on, or will Williams bring the Wildcats back?
And I think given what we've seen, I think in this case, now you allow Akevius Williams to win this football game. When you give him time up front, he's been throwing the ball effectively. They got some gaps in that secondary they've been able to exploit. And if he sees something he doesn't like, take off and run. He's shown that he can get away from the Howard defenders.
Williams just underthrows his man, Kevon Mitchell, so that brings up 3rd and 8. And what you don't want here, Jay, is a quick 3 and out.
You don't want a 3 and out. They do have some timeouts, but so often young quarterbacks don't realize, and I learned this from Denny Green, my old coach in Minnesota, the most important play of a hurry-up offense is the first play. Positive yardage, set up some tempo, get you going. Right now, they're kind of at a standstill because they just didn't get it going right on first down.
Just made to the right in the backfield. Williams collects it. Moved out and looks to be tripped up near the line of scrimmage. Devin Hurtado flushing him out the pocket. So now it brings up 4th down. You got to punt it here.
Yeah, I think you have to punt it. And give credit to the 3-man rush of Howard, forcing him to escape out of the pocket, not able to pick up any yards.
So that was a big defensive hold for the Bison.
Booming kick.
Booming kick there from Giovanni Francis. Bounces all the way into the end zone. Wow. He got all his leg into that one, 63 yards. Our Week 3 Monday Night Football matchup has been Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and the Steelers taking on Tampa Bay. They're 2-0 right now, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Also simulcast on ESPN2 in Spanish and available on the ESPN app. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6. So we saw earlier in this game Newton deliver a ball to Jaquez Ezzard, and we said earlier that may get on You Got Mossed.
Yeah, great throw there, but
he targets number 12 Ezzard once more on the outside, short gain.
Good job not going out of bounds by Ezzard, taking additional hits, staying in bounds, forces Bethune Cookman to use one of those timeouts.
And so, when you're on the sideline, obviously...
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 34 seconds.
Each team is trying to rally their troops and give them their marching orders. What is it that Charles Yogi Jones wants his defense to do here?
When you go out, you got to play sound. So you want to try and make the tackle, push him out of bounds. But I think the question becomes, does he apply pressure to Newton, or do you sit back? The front four, Kevin Thompson, those guys, I think you allow them to go do it. I would not blitz Howard right now in this situation.
On the outside, first down completion.
And this has been the surprise, coming out throwing the football. So Howard's come out risky all day, high risk offense, and they decide to come out with 2 consecutive passes in what traditionally would be obvious run situations.
Well, does that speak to the confidence that they have in Kalen Newton?
Putting it in his hands, and they're making a simple read. If the cornerbacks are going to play 10 yards off, if you can pull it, complete a hitch, That is good, and this is valuable seconds ticking away on the clock right now.
301 passing yards for Newton.
Now they run the ball.
And they've been effective running the ball all day. They're a short gain for Newton.
Well, now Bethune-Cookman called a quick timeout. Maybe lost about 5 seconds, but I would have called the timeout a little bit quicker.
Second timeout, Bethune-Cookman. 30-second timeout.
So we're at the point now, if Howard can pick up another first down ball game, if Bethune-Cookman can get a stop and there's an incomplete pass, then you can have an opportunity for a drive. But if you do it right, you should have less than a minute on the clock.
Just a reminder, SportsCenter from LA tonight after Arizona State, Washington with Stan and Neil. Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler break down Stanford, Oregon, plus reaction from Urban Meyer, as well as the top plays and moments from college football. SportsCenter after the game on ESPN and the ESPN app. 2nd and 9, the handoff to Dedrick Parson. And the clock continuing to wind down, so 3rd and 6, and that was just some wasted time there.
3rd and final timeout, Bethune-Cookman.
Jay, why did it take so long?
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 23 seconds. 1:23.
They're putting 2 seconds off, but that play was over with like a minute and 34 seconds. So it's valuable because you're going to need it back on the offensive side of the ball. I just think it was a little bit of indecisiveness during that moment there. And we'll see if it comes back. If they're going to need those probably roughly about 15 seconds during this drive we thought they could have kept.
And remember that this defense for Bethune-Cookman playing without a couple of key players or linebackers. Marquise Hendricks was ejected from the game. And the first down will win the game.
Oh, wow.
Bat it down.
No. This is bad. I understand you're aggressive, but you have to run the football in that situation.
Uriah Gilbert deflects the pass.
No, pure pass. And Coach London, you've done a lot of great things there, but if you have an opportunity to give the team back, run the ball, they get the ball back with 40 seconds, pinned deep after you punt it to them, you take that. Now you're going to give this team back the football with, I'm thinking, at least a minute.
Still giving the Wildcats some hope here. As Moore gets the punt off. Mitchell running backwards and then going forward. And we'll see what Bethune-Cookman can do with a minute and 8 seconds to go and an opportunity to win this ball game.
And it goes back on both sides. If Coach Sims would have done a little bit better job with clock management, you're talking about Bethune getting the football back with a minute and 30 seconds compared to a minute 8. And I think if Howard does not throw the football, you're looking at Bethune-Cookman getting the football back with less than 40 seconds, almost 30 seconds. So we'll see. Let them play it all out on the field. I think both coaches wish they could have gone back and changed a couple things.
Well, if you think back to last year, it was Bethune-Cookman who led most of the way, then Kalen Newton coming in the final minute to score the game-winning touchdown as the Bison won by 2. The Wildcats would like to exact revenge and start out.
You got to get out of bounds in that situation there. Yeah. Get out of bounds. You got the throw, picked up some yards, get out of bounds. And I will say this, let's not forget, last season, biggest play of the MEAC season was when Bethune-Cookman hit a Hail Mary versus North Carolina Central.
Good throw. That gets him across midfield to Jimmy Robinson. Robinson has been a factor all day long.
Yeah, clock will stop as they set the chains in college football until they mark it. Then they will start the clock down. Williams
has all kinds of time. Good coverage downfield, dangerous throw, and it's intercepted. Ty Freeland comes up with the pick. And the Bison seal the deal off the interception from the sophomore Freeland.
Well, one of the things you're taught not to do, throw the ball back against the grain, cross the field, inaccurate throw. Another ball that was high, and this one was tipped up. And Ty Freeland has played a pretty good game from that safety position for Howard. Should have sealed the deal. We've seen crazy things happen here, but there should be one snap and get on the bus, and the Bison get the victory.
They open conference play with a win. And as Terry Sims sees his team fall to Howard for the second year in a row. Ty Freeland coming up with the big INT. Turnovers had been a huge factor all day long. 4 for Bethune-Cookman. None more hurtful than that final INT.
Tough loss for there, but I will say this. I think you're going to hear from the Wildcats this season. They got a team that can fight to the end, and they're going to have something to say when it comes to that Celebration Bowl.
As the coaches meet at midfield, it's Kalen Newton and the Howard Bison holding on to win 41-35 from this Circle City Classic in Indianapolis. A high-scoring affair, high-stepping all the way through. Hope you had fun. We did. For Jay Walker and our entire crew, I'm saying Tiffany Green saying so long from that town.